Everybody, and welcome to the Absolute Football Podcast, Absolutely Lower League, the show dedicated to everything from the EFL Championship, League One, League Two, the Vanarama National League, the Vanarama National League North and South, a bit of FA Cup action as well this week, and it is a double game week in the EFL. Has it been the first double game week in the EFL this season?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Yeah,
it was our first Tuesday night, so I think it was.
Yeah. But of course, I could not do this alone, especially with it being a double game week. So I brought my pals with me. And how are you and how's your week been?
Yeah, not bad at all, actually. Nothing, can't really complain. Another 3 points. Yeah, good. Got the new away top, so there we go.
It.
Absolutely spot on. How are you? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. I just wanted to warn everyone in the chat as well. The cold is still cold in. And when I cough, it sounds really pathetic. So I promise I'm not being sarcastic. I've just got a really tickly cough. You'll know what I mean after. But of course, it's not just me and Anne. Ben, how are you? And how's your week been?
Yeah, I'm all good, thank you. A bit like you, Jill, trying to shaft this cough out of the way. Mine's a bit more chesty, I think, rather than tickly at the moment. So, but yeah, other than that, football-wise, it's been okay this week. So. Yeah, no, looking forward to discussing FA Cup tonight.
We're going to start with that as well, but yeah, we're both full of colds, both got coughs, so we'll be outdoing each other, won't we? We can cough the most tonight. But of course, it's not just me, Ant and Ben. Rebecca, how are you and how's your week been? I mean, positive news talking Everton. Is it positive on Accrington or not?
No, it isn't.
Oh.
No, we'll get to that one. We did have a weekend off, so we didn't have the double game week, which I was quite thrilled off. But yeah, not too bad. First week back at uni, computers decided to break, so we're all good. But I did watch a good musical last night, so...
Love it. There's always a positive though, Rebecca. There's always a positive and you can always find it.
Very true.
And Ant, what did you say to Rebecca off air when a computer broke?
Oh, God. Says no.
Sorry, I just had to get you to say it again. Jen, how are you and how's your week been? Have we got any positive news?
No.
I
tried, right? We tried for 79 minutes and it didn't happen. Okay. Right, it's fine. It's fine. We'll win on Saturday. Sorry, Rebecca. I was going to say sorry now. We'll win on Saturday and then it'll be up from there. But other than that, I'm doing all right. I can't complain.
Good to hear. And a face that we've not seen forever. I mean, I barely recognised you when you came on, Dan. How are you and how's your week been?
I'm all right. I've grown a beard. Moving out. It's all happening. I think I've become a man. It's just
finally.
Yay! But
he's not a Danielle anymore. He's a Daniel.
I'm not. That's it. That's all that's gone. It's all been done. It's all been done. Even the t-shirt's flat now. They've gone. So yeah, no, I'm good. I'm all right. Living the dream, as they say. But yeah, work commitments have held me back a little bit, and I'm glad to be back. Always glad to be back on here and seeing you guys.
Sorry about that. The tickle was there. Of course, it is not just us. We have all you lovely people in the chat. We have Chris, he's put good evening all. We've got our very own Sam as well. Evening everybody. Pizza, Europa League, and my beautiful podcast team. If Carlsberg made evenings in. We were just talking off air as well about the Manchester United game, Sam. Please keep us updated, but how frustrating. How frustrating. Mr. Luke, all right, everyone. Time to talk about another Gateshead win and gutting managerial departure for us, unfortunately. I know, I was gutted. Honestly, when I saw that, Luke, I instantly thought of you and I thought, oh, I'm so gutted for him. But we have to wait till the end. National League coverage is right at the end, so I do apologise. I do apologise. We have got Aled as well. He has put evening all. Hope you are well. Who else? We've got a lot of chat tonight. Thank you, everyone. We've got Graham. Saying hello to everyone. I love how all the chat talk to each other as well. So cute. Got Johnny has put hey all. Chris has put Dan the man. He's very excited to see you, Dan.
Wow.
Simon has put evening everyone. How are we all doing today? We are really good. Thank you. Hope you're well. Sean has said the same. We hope you're okay as well. And if there is anybody new as well in the chat, we are going to cover the EFL leagues, the FA Cup qualifiers and National League. So if you do support any teams or if you went to any games, please send in your match report because we will always read them out. We're intrigued to know how your team's doing. Liam has put Aki getting battered this weekend. Up the shrimps.
It's literally all I've had all week is up the shrimps. Like, about 50 times throughout the day. I've had enough. All right.
It'll just be your luck. Donald Love will score a hat trick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And he'll probably get booed, even though he doesn't deserve to get booed, but he probably will get booed because half of our fans will, but you know.
Johnny has put as well, Shah, did you mean to put Ant and Ben beside each other? It just happened naturally, to be fair. It's fate. Fate knows.
I don't know what you mean.
Claire has put, hello, just finishing off my hand luggage. How are you all? Love you guys. And what's a Burnley? What is a Burnley, Dan?
It's a team that beat Stockport County in the 1994 playoff final, and ever since then they've been absolutely bitter. Love you, Claire.
I'm saying nothing. I'm not getting involved. We have got Kyle as well. We remembered his name from last week. Good evening, ladies and gents. The best team of the week has arrived. Oh, love this. Best team of the week, all us lot. Thank you. And I'm also not feeling good this week. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. I hope you feel better soon. Mr. and Mrs. Tickle. I don't know the context to that.
Is that going to be the cough?
I think it's about the cough. So.
Yeah, you and Ben.
I thought it was on about me and Ben. I was like, I'm not a Mrs. for anybody. I'm sorry.
So me and Ben are Mr. and Mrs. Tickle. Great. Sorry, Ben. You got stuck with me. Alan has put, might not be here long, is going to have a chat with people who have an interest in the Welsh League as we monitor TNS game, but wanted to say hi at least, and I will send my match review in a moment. Oh, I'm only joking, Aled. It's all good. Luke has put, get in National League coverage till the end so I don't have to cry while I'm typing my thoughts on Rob Elliott's departure. Oh, please don't cry, Luke. I can't handle it when other people cry. I cry then, and I've got one of them faces that everyone laughs at when I cry. Can we skip League One, please, Sean? No, I'm sorry, we can't. We can skip your game, though, if you want, Sean. Liam has put, I'll clap him off the pitch.
Is that Don Love?
Love?
Deserves every clap going. Don Love, the boy.
Claire has put, 30 years ago, grow up, Dan. There's a lot of chat tonight, so thank you so much, everyone. He's got a massive cough and cold as well. It's all going round, isn't it? It's the weather. Johnny has put, got up and down week. I had to leave my college course at the start of a week. Then I found out today I got a job. Oh,
Hey.
Congratulations. Sorry about the college course, but congratulations. As I always say, everything happens for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
It does. But should we talk some football?
Yeah.
Aye.
Why not?
We will start with the FA Cup. Ben, do you want to talk Maidstone?
Yeah, we're going to win the whole thing. Well, I knew it was going to happen.
Gonna piss the FA Cup.
Exactly. We're going to win another, 9-10 games still to do it. So, yeah, no problem at all.
Exactly.
Yeah, we had a nice little local derby. Well, I say local derby. Local game. It was Kent Derby, I guess, against Home Bay. We hadn't played them for about a good 10 years or so since we were Ryman League South and that. So, obviously, we've moved in our different directions since. So really good atmosphere, 2,000 people in, obviously the biggest game for Herne Bay for quite a number of years. We took a good 600-700 down there, so we knew it was going to be a bit of a classic cup tie, and one I really look forward to when the draw came out originally. The game itself, we did enough. That's all I'll say. Really, it wasn't pretty at all. We played some nice stuff at times. We had pretty much the vast majority of possession. We knew we were a bit, vulnerable maybe to a counter attack potentially. We didn't really penetrate them as much as I would have hoped we would have done, sort of in the first 20, 25 minutes. But it was good to have sort of experience back in midfield, the likes of Sam Call and Jordan Higgs. We've been missing them for a number of weeks, really, and having their experience in there, I think, really helped us get through that tie. We managed to nick our goal sort of just before half time. A bit of a confusion, a bit similar to our goal we conceded against, first goal we conceded against Chesham last week. Confusion between the goalkeeper and the defender, where fortunately Sky Salmon, their centre backs, not obviously got the memo that the keeper was going to get it. He's headed it back towards goal, and it's going into an empty net. So gave us what was a bit of a relief all round to get out of that goal just for half time. And second half, we knew they'd have a go. Herne Bay, they're 2 leagues below us. They've got a big crowd behind them, and it was a good atmosphere. So they thought they didn't want to waste this opportunity. It really wasn't until sort of the last maybe 5-10 minutes where they really started to put us under a bit of pressure. We had probably a shot at the near post that was well kept out by Alexis Andre Jr. Couple of goalmouth scrambles, I guess, in the way to in stoppage time. But at the end of the day, really, I think we did enough to win the game, but it certainly wasn't great. But I always say in the qualifiers, or even any game in the FA Cup, it is just about getting through. I mean, personally, I could have pictured them getting an equaliser right at the end. It just had that feel about it. So I'm quite glad we managed to see it out in the end. We haven't had to go for a replay on Tuesday. So, but I'll tell you what, though, a massive amount of credit has to go to Herne Bay. They really gave us a proper game, and I knew it would be a lot tougher than what people might have thought on paper, because everyone looks at us, obviously, as being the team that, was the story of last season, the FA Cup, and they probably see us as a big scalp, particularly and obviously for the ones that are lower down in the pyramid. So for Herne Bay, they thought they didn't want to waste the opportunity. So it's a good result for us. We needed it as well. Clean sheets are nice as well. We haven't had that for a few weeks. So, hopefully it'll give the boys a bit of confidence going into Saturday's game, a tough one against Worthing. But yeah, I've already seen Graham's commenting, it now leads us to a nice, tasty Kent derby in the next round as well against our, neighbours, Absolute United. And I could have pictured that, because I listened to the Droidon Talksport like a lot of us did. And just as the balls were going down, I knew full well it was either going to be Tunbridge or it was going to be Absolute. But thankfully, we've got them at home, so I'm quite pleased by that. But it's going to be, an epic tie. We've had our games against Absolute. They've been very close games over the years, and this one would be right up there, because Absolute need a win from somewhere. They're not having a good league campaign.
Don't say that. We've got them on Saturday.
I know. Just do us a favour, just crash them 5-0, and their confidence will be down. That's the thing. You've had it first, so you've got to give me the full scouting report on there before we play them. But it's going to be that's going to be a tough one for us, in the next round, because they are a league above us. They have got some good players in that team, but just really pleased to get through. And one round closer now. We're one win away from the first round proper, which may well mean a TV game for us potentially, because of last year's story. So everyone might look at us and think, actually, they're on a run again. Why not put them on the TV? So we've got to make sure we do the job next week. It'll be hopefully a massive crowd in. We're hoping. So all good all round. We're really pleased to get through, and obviously the money always helps as well at the end of the day. So positive all round.
Yes, I like it. And hopefully Absolute do not get that win on Saturday.
No, please don't. Otherwise, I'll be blaming you when we lose to them. It's like you gave that confidence.
I'm just going to quickly go to the chat, because there is a lot of FA Cup chat. I'll go first to Chris. He's put his match report. So for Charlie fixture, obviously he's a Spenny fan. So the game was pretty much both teams cancelling each other out. The only goal that came in the game was that man again, Isaac Fletcher, with a curler of a shot into the back of the Charlie net, 1-0 win, and still waiting on who we face in the next round as it's still to be played. And then we have got as well, Lucas put, I have to mention some of the upsets. Radcliffe 2, Bury 3, Galston 4, St Albans City 2, and Harbour Town 1. Claire always takes the mick out of our savers, so I'm not even going to say it. And Oxford City 2, Gosport Borough 3. Any other upsets, what you think, Ben? Or any other games you want to talk about in the FA Cup?
I mean, I think Mr. Luke's already pointed out the two main ones. I think that was the ones because we had a chat about it, about which ones are the standout ones. And they were the main ones I wrote down was, the Bury game. I mean, a massive amount of credit for them. And, what a time for them to be, for their supporters again. They deserve this, for what they've been through in the last sort of 3-4 years. To go to a side, I know Ratcliffe are in a bit of a difficult time as a club, and obviously a difficult season on the pitch as well, bottom of the Nationals, North. But to tell you what, though, then 3 leagues below them, regardless of how big a club Bury are anyway, that's still a big ask to go to a side like that, away from home and win the game. And I think it was a last-minute penalty they got as well.
Yeah, it was.
I could only imagine the scenes behind that goal for the Bury fans, and again, I think if they get through the next one, they'll probably be guaranteed. I would have thought for a TV game, not just because obviously the club they are, but because of the level play. They're playing step 9, and if they do manage to get into the first round pro, what an achievement that will be for a newly born club. And so that was the main one. And obviously Galston as well against St Albans, 2 leagues apart, both of them. I watched the highlights from that game, and pretty awful defending from St Albans. I think costing the game, to be honest. Not taking any credit away from Galston because they've done the job. They look like they defended really well in that as well. And that again, that's a big ask for them. I don't know if this is the first time they've got to the full qualifying round because they're never a name I tend to come across, at this stage of the competition. Yeah. So, I think they've got a fairly winnable tie in the next one. I think they've got to play Harbour. I think it is obviously another one of the upsets. And I guess the one that maybe wasn't mentioned there actually, Guiseley beat Scunthorpe United 1-0. I think that was a bit of a shock as well. I know there's only a league between them, but I think in the gulf and size between the clubs, is pretty remarkable, really. Guys, they're a pretty small club. I know they've had their time in the National League and everything like that, but they've dipped a little bit in recent years. So, then to get a big win over a Scunthorpe team who are flying this season at the moment, well, what a win for them. Don't think Scunthorpe fans were too happy about it when I looked at their comments on Twitter, but yeah, no, some good, good results, and it is nice to see those lower teams, I always say, getting this far in that. And I just hope that, 1 or 2 of them, particularly from step 8 or step 9, can make the first round proper, because that's what it's all about. You love seeing the National League and National South and North teams do really well, but the ones below that, that's the ones that you really want to see in the first round, because that's what it's all about. Those really small clubs that get their moment in the sun against a potential Football League side. So yeah, I'm hoping that a few of those ones manage to create some more history in the next round and put themselves in the draw, and hopefully we will be amongst that as well.
Fingers crossed. One that hasn't been mentioned as well, I'm pretty sure didn't Hereford get beat off a team below them?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Actually, I did write that down. Actually, it was another one. Actually, it was Bishop Stortford, wasn't it? 3-2 loss.
Shock, that one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think again, when you look at the gulf and the size between the clubs, again, I think there's only a division between them. But in fact, we've mentioned as well, Gosport's win over Oxford as well, and Harbour against Leamington. That again, these are sides that I guess you call cup sets, if you like. Maybe not massive shocks, but I think with Hereford, they'll probably be disappointed. They haven't managed to get themselves full qualifying round, because they've not done too bad in the FA Cup in recent years. They've always managed to get in around to the first round proper. So yeah, that was a pretty big one. There's still a couple of potential shocks as well, because I know there were a couple of postponements as well. The one I'm really hoping on that they get through is Bishop's Cleeve. We've got Cheshire United on next Tuesday. Bishop's Cleeve are having a historical run at the moment. They've already dispatched Torquay United, and the winners of this tie will play. I think it's Yeovil Town at home, which would be a massive amount of money income for the likes of Bishop Cleeve. They're only a small village club, and if they can create that history and get to that full qualifying rounds, then they'll be set up for a good couple of years. But again, if they can go that one step into the first round proper, then absolutely brilliant for them. But yeah, there's them, and I think there's another tie as well. I think there's Lowestoft, Haringey, which I think they're very similar in clubs, but again, one of the smaller clubs that might get through as well. So yeah, still all to play for, but it's an exciting full qualifying round, I have to say. So we'll make sure that we're in there, and obviously the day we're in there as well, Shah.
Honestly, Johnny, out of every team it could have been, and I was manifesting, right? We've mentioned Bury, and I thought, right, this would be perfect now. If it's still in the draw, how good would it be to have a Bury Rochdale like derby again? I know obviously they've reformed and everything. They've gone back and then obviously built themselves back up, but it'd be so like the old times. And I know Rochdale Oldham is massive, but through my like growing up, Oldham were always higher than us and Bury. So that was like our main derby, Rochdale and Bury. So I was proper hyped up. My cousins are Bury fans as well. So we were texting each other, we were all hyped up. And then we draw AFC Fylde away.
Great.
What a great Monday. I thought, wow, out of every team we could have got AFC Fylde. You know the dramas of AFC Fylde last season when our player ended up knocking himself out because it was so unsafe. I came on and had a rant about this. They've just obviously sacked Chris Beach, so we're definitely going to get a manager bounce as well. And just what an underwhelming draw. It's local. I'm probably going to go because it's local. But out of all the teams we could have got, AFC Fylde. And you know they're going to end up beating us. So,
Do you know what,
yeah,
though?
it was...
There's actually like a question. I mean, this question probably for you, Shah, actually, and actually probably for the chat as well. But there's been this like sort of stigma, I guess, that the northern half of the draw is much harder, than probably the ones in the south. Would you agree with that? Would you say that the north side of the draw is harder than the south?
Yeah.
We wear shorts up north. We're all hard.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I just say that because it's like there's bigger clubs. I think there's a lot bigger clubs, like in the northern side of the draw, and I think it's not as open. I think it's probably maybe the south because there always seems to be clubs from sort of the 7th, 8th tier. And obviously, I think there seems to be a few more teams from the south in the north, in the southern part of the draw. And I just always find that every year I look at the northern draw, I think a few fans always say, "Oh, it's so much harder." If we always got to play like your Oldhams, like say your Rochdales, and that's probably that's some of the big clubs up north. Whereas down the south, you haven't really got that many big ones at this stage of the competition, if you like. So, I would personally say that the northern side is always harder than the south. So I think we're quite lucky in that regard. So that's one. I thought that was a question. I think there's a couple. I think Mr. Luke's already agreed with me on that. So I totally back you on that. I think the southern side. I think we're very lucky, to be honest, to have a few more lesser teams in there than maybe compared to the northern side of the draw.
Yeah. The only thing is with us, though, it's like last year, we didn't even get to the first round because Hereford actually ended up beating us. So against the lower teams, and I find this in the league as well, that's why I'm not confident whatsoever for Saturday against Ebbsfleet, because I find with the lower teams, we seem to struggle more because you're expecting, I think a lot of our fans expect to win and think, oh, easy draw. But when we come up against them, we don't really know how to cope with them. So, yeah, from a Rochdale point of view, I think any game is hard for us in that respect because I just never know what to expect.
Fingers crossed. Please do the job.
I know. Fingers crossed.
6-0. We can let it 6-0 and I'll be moaning here.
Right. FA Cup talk done. Championship. So, and Dan, who wants to go first? We'll start with Saturday's games.
I'll let Dan go first because it was 0-0, wasn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, it. To be fair, it was a really interesting game. Des Buckingham has got Oxford playing some really good football. There's, they're going to be looking at the teams that have done that, the likes of your Ipswich that have come up and just gone, sod it, let's ride that wave, let's go again. And they managed it. So why not? Out of all the three that came up, I didn't think Oxford would be the one putting up the fight. I thought Pompey would have been, especially after their opening day draw against Leeds. But yeah, what a performance. They've had 4 home wins. We'll go into a place where they're unbeaten. And we were looking to get 3 wins back-to-back, but it just never came. A good point, really. I think we threw everything at them, but defensively, they were solid. And there's nothing you can do. It was a boring watch-along, I can tell you that on the old channel, but it was still good to put, just see a fighting performance, because under Scott Parker, we've got a different type of football. We've got a bit of company ball, but we've got a bit of that hard grit dash sort of stuff. So it's nice to see a bit of a mix of the two. But massive shout out to Oxford. I think they're going to go on and do well. And a massive shout out to Des Buckingham as well, because I think the hoodie that he was wearing, you see a lot of managers, suited and booted and stuff like that. But especially with a lot of the news coming out of footballers and rugby players, a lot of sportsmen recently that have gone through hard times. And it's nice to see the togetherness that people that are a public figure are able to put that message out there.
Completely agree. I was
All right,
quiet.
there, Sharp.
Yeah. I didn't know if anyone were carrying on. I was kind of waiting because it just ended like that. So I was like, is anyone else like? But yeah, I was kind of like.
Yeah, Oxford will be all right, won't they? They'll be absolutely fine. Oxford, like I am not looking forward to playing them, to be honest, because they're set up so well and they set up themselves really well defensively, and they've obviously got that Michael Harris who's banging the goals in, so they'll be absolutely fine. Great result for them, to be fair.
Do you want to start Sunderland?
Not Saturday. See, I'm more euphoric because obviously since Saturday the Lasses have won. We won on Tuesday and the Lasses have just won tonight, so I'm like more euphoric than that one. But Saturday was probably our worst performance of the season, to be fair. Didn't play very well at all in the first half and really should have been more than 1-0 down. Their goal was nice, but was awful defending from us. And then second half, we actually started well, got the equaliser through Wilson Isidore, and then looked as if there was only going to be one winner, and I thought it was going to be us. We go and concede an absolutely stupid penalty. Dan Neil just dives in, dreadful tackle, penalty. They score it, we lose. That's it really. I can't really see it much more. We were poor. But the important thing was to put it right. Obviously, we'll get it to Tuesday, but we put it right, and that's the most kind of pleasing I think that is about them at the minute. Where when they've lost, they've really come back well. So well, like I say, we'll not mention Tuesday yet because I'm sure we'll get into it. But yeah, it was poor. But I like Watford as a football club, so I'm glad that they won and saved Tom Cleverley from the sack for another week.
I know they like sacking managers, don't they?
They do.
Hi, Dietrich. Hope you're okay. Championship. So I'm going to ask you actually, Anne, as well. Any other standouts for you?
Probably Sheffield did the whole teams at the top a massive favour, didn't on Saturday. Beating West Brom because obviously West Brom were unbeaten before then. Sheffield Wednesday hadn't been playing too well, but the fact they went 2-0 up. Josh Windass scored a really good header as well, actually, really, really good goal. And then West Brom, I think Madge scored for them. They got an equaliser in the 84th minute. And it's probably the same as our game when you were thinking if there's going to be one winner, it'll be probably West Brom. But then Sheffield literally went down the other end and scored. So massive for them, massive for Danny Roll as well. I think he was under a little bit of pressure there.
Yeah.
Probably needless pressure because he's class. But, like I say, he did everyone a massive favour at the start of the day. No one really capitalised, did they? Because obviously we lost. Burnley only drew. Sheffield United drew. There was no one really at the top.
Yeah.
One had just let Leeds catch up a little bit. So, which was it is what it is with Leeds because Leeds will be up there. They've got that good of a squad. They will be up there. But Leeds have picked up a couple of injuries, so we've got them on Friday. We've got them tomorrow night. So that'll be a massive game. I think it'll be one of them ones, that's top of the top of the table clash. To be fair, so we'll see what happens.
Oh, I might tune into that one. Is it on Sky?
Yeah.
Oh, I might tune in. Speaking of Leeds as well, Simon has sent in. So his match report. We were awful. We might as well have not turned up. If not for our goalie, it would have been more than 3-0.
Yeah. I watched a little bit of it on the highlights and they look poor, but the thing I can't really get about Coventry, and I mentioned it before, that you expect to turn around. I know they won the other night, and they beat Blackburn, didn't they, the other night? But they've really got to go on a winning run now to catch the other teams up, especially teams at the top. So and everyone I think expect them to be around there. But I saw a fair bit of the game, and Ben Wilson had a fantastic game in goal. And then everyone was whinging on like he started on Tuesday night. I thought that was a bit weird. And I like Ben Wilson because he's an ex-Sunderland Academy player. So, yeah, I really do. I think he's a good lad as well. He's a really good lad. So, yeah, see what happens. See what happens with them. But, you know, they had to win, I think, the other night.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Johnny in the chat as well. So he is a Sheffield United fan. So it was a 0-0 draw, but he has said we were very poor. Yeah, it was Portsmouth, isn't it? Yeah, Portsmouth. We were very poor. Pompey against Pompey, but glad to get the point, and also happy we kept another clean sheet. And then I'm just going down to his other comments, and he is bragging a little bit. Who is the only team in the Championship who has not lost a game?
Do you know what?
Yes, it's
Do you know what?
Mighty
I wasn't going to mention it tonight with Dan being on because me and Dan are good mates. But to counteract Johnny's, you know, claim there, who's top?
should we have a little look?
Look who's second. Look who's second.
Where's Sheffield United? All the way down there. Look at that.
Where's Sheffield United are third. I definitely see nothing because it will change. It will change this weekend. You know what I mean?
Oh, bless as well, Sam. Before we move on, he's put Man United halftime update. Rashford for once having a really good game. Off at halftime. Presumed injury. Fu King marvellous. Bless you, Sam.
What a life he lives.
I know. Jen, I'm going to come to you next. Is there any standout games to you on Saturday's Championship results?
I would have said Plymouth versus Luton because I don't know what it is with the media, but they seem to be making out that Wayne Rooney is this horrible manager and he's not doing very well. But he had a great game on Friday to come back and win 3-1. I think is huge for Plymouth. And I do think like he's doing a fantastic job at Plymouth, and I just don't understand why the media are putting him out there to fail, basically saying he's not good enough to do it. But I think Plymouth are going to survive in this league, and I think Wayne Rooney's going to do very well as a manager.
I think it's probably because it's Wayne Rooney, isn't it, as well?
Yeah.
And obviously all him as a player and stuff. But I hate the media. But from a Luton point of view as well, is anyone fearing for Rob Edwards? Because I don't mean to be awful, but they've had a horrendous start, haven't they?
Yeah.
I'm fearful with them at the moment. I think because one of my work colleagues is a Luton fan, and I think he told me today, I think it's something like 3 wins in the last 30 games or something like that now for Luton. It's something along those lines. And if you're Rob Edwards, regardless of what he's done for the club there, you would be fearing for your job right now, because the last thing Luton need right now is to go to League One. And, you know, 100%. After, you know, exactly. And it has been known before that Premier League clubs have, you know, England will probably know, Sunderland have slipped straight through. You know, when you get relegated once, there's no reason why it won't happen again. That's why you need to build, you know, a side that, you know, almost, I wouldn't say completely change the squad, but one that maybe, you know, can re-galvanise the supporters again, you know, because it was not a bad season for Luton by any stretch of the imagination, because they did give it a good go with what they had. But this year, you know, the fact that, you know, Plymouth, I mean, albeit, you know, like Jem just said, you know, Rooney's, I think, you know, that's a big result for him in terms of his managerial career at the moment, because obviously it didn't go to plan at Birmingham last year, but, you know, for where Plymouth are in the league at the moment, if you're losing 3-1, you know, for a club like Luton, away to Plymouth, I would be fearing right now as Rob Edwards, and he's definitely going to be under some sort of pressure now, whether it's from supporters or, you know, the media and everything like that. It's a bit of trouble at the moment for him. So I'm hoping he'll bounce back, because like I say, we absolutely love Rob Edwards in this podcast.
I don't want him to get sacked.
No, exactly.
He's free football ability, football management ability.
Oh no, I do that as well. I promise.
He could come and be the manager at Markham if he wants. I'll take him.
The thing is for Luton, I thought there would be a different kettle of fish to the likes of Blackpool and Huddersfield and teams like that. They've had their moment in the big league. You know, we could see the same for Ipswich. You know, no one knows what's going to happen on that front. You know, you can ride that wave, but you've got to try and keep that stability. I look at the Premier League now, and do I want to get back there? Yes, but I'm not bothered about getting back there to be playing the teams anymore. I'm more bothered about the fact of how much financial gain it makes for our club more than anything else. Sam, Jesus.
I know. Oh,
It's very tough. It's horrible. The Championship is, for me, I'm sorry to say to the lads on the other podcast, but the Championship is probably one of the more entertaining leagues, more than the Premier League, I'd have to say, because you don't know who's going to be where at the end of the season. We've had teams be knocking on the door of relegation the season after, bumped up into the playoffs. It's an absolute mad division. And like I say, I think Luton are just on that come down, but they shouldn't. They should have their heads held high, because as much as they were relegated, it doesn't mean anything for them. They've done really well, and they need to now use that negative as a positive.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree.
The thing is, though, and Ben made a point before, they've won 3 out of 30. And yes, I thought, it would have been harsh to sack him in the Premier League, because he did a magnificent job in the Premier League, and they were close. But you've got to remember, they were only close because Everton got a points deduction. They would have been, and Forest did as well, didn't they? They would have, all 3 of them teams would have been massively tailed off. Sorry, Dan, but it is what it is. It is. Would have been massively tailed off if it wasn't for the points deductions. And I think personally, it's only October. It's still quite early in the season. They've only played 8 games or whatever it is. When do they if they lose on Saturday? They've got an international weekend where they can sack him, bring a manager in, and then hope for a bounce. I know what'll happen. They'll end up sacking him after the next 2 games. They'll play us and they'll beat us with a new manager. That's what'll happen. But because it just happens to Sunderland. But yeah, I mean, I don't know with Luton, because the problem is with Luton is, who do you get in? Because it's a club, it's a niche club where the play football. It's not very that much pleasing on the eye, but it's effective. So I don't know about you guys, but I think maybe a lot of the issues are still down to Alfie Doubt, not Alfie Doubt, the lad who collapsed, and I don't think they're over that yet. The fact that his career is pretty much over, isn't it? He might not play again, and I don't think they've really recovered from that stuff. To be honest, I think there's a lot off the pitch that they just need something to get a little bit of confidence back. Because I really don't want Luton to struggle or to go down or whatever. I want them to be up there with us, because they're a proper good old fashioned football team, and they've got a new stadium to look forward to as well. So you want to be playing in the Championship for stuff like that, don't you?
Yeah. Oh.
Sorry, Rob.
I know, I'm sorry. I just think it makes me so sad. Oh, Simon, no.
Probably.
No. Don't do this. Rebecca, is there any standouts for you?
I mean, another win for Rovers was, it's they are such an informed team at the moment, and just scoring for fun. Sorry. I have to be nice on my brother's team. I mean, it was quite an even first half. Not much went either way. Until I think it was Varane, is he called? Was shown a red card for a late challenge, and then Blackburn were just off, took advantage of that, and did what they do at the moment. Todd Cantwell made an appearance and got an assist. So to see him playing and doing what he can do is good, because I know he wasn't really the player he can be when he was on loan at Bournemouth in the Championship. So it's to now see him doing well at Blackburn, it is very positive. And they do have a very strong squad now, and it's going to be interesting to see where they can fight up at the top.
Chris has popped up with some more updates. Leon are beating Rangers 4-1.
I think Rangers are having a competition who'd be the worst in Europe. I know. Rangers getting happy off Leon. Alexander Lacazette scored for Leon. He's about 97. So
I'll tell you what, though, just going back to Rebecca's point about Blackburn, I think to be fair, that's a credit, because they've not let the departure of Sammy Smodish get to them. It's obviously the massive player from last season, and obviously scored, in the opening day of this season. You thought, they can be up there again, but the fact they haven't had him, at all really after the first game, and they're in the playoffs at the moment. We're 8 games in, but that just shows, that they are now starting to build more of a squad, because I think it was built a lot around him last season, and maybe now they've had to learn, they've had to adapt to it. yeah, they're starting to tick off the wins now. So, and they're a club that always should be up in there in the players. I mean, they were a very established Premier League club not that long ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, fair play to them.
I think we kind of jinxed them, didn't we, Rebecca? Because do you remember when we were saying on a preview show, like, oh, we think we're going to struggle and stuff like that? And now they've gone completely the other way at the minute, haven't they? But we've just done really bad predictions.
But when we said that, they had only bought, I think it was like Everton under-21's keeper and like another under-21's player. So we did have a reason for that.
That is true.
Like a week later, they decided to buy, let's buy Yuki, who is a goal-scoring machine for them.
Yeah. That is true. In our defence, yeah. We'll go back to that at the end of the season. We'll go back to that and this clip as well. I'll clip it now.
Yeah.
At the end, so we know. Just a comment from Johnny to you as well, man. He's put, you're keeping it warm, apparently, for Sheffield United.
At the end of the day, like, I'm happy wherever we finish this season. We've had such a good start. Like, of course, but I don't think we'll finish top. We've got, Burnley are on our tails, and Burnley've got the financial clout of having a parachute payment and stuff like that, and selling players and stuff. And Sheffield United have had exactly the same. I expect Leeds to be up there. I expect Burnley, Sheffield United to be top 2. I expect Leeds to, probably finish 3rd again and choke on the playoffs. But I think if we finish,
I love how you stuck that in there.
Yeah, 10th upwards would do me. And I think the bother is that the team that we've got and the players that we've got at the minute, we've got a lot of young players, and young players are going to make mistakes. It happened on Saturday with Dan Neil making that mistake. Young players are going to make errors. But it's about how you recover from it, and recover from it really well. I mentioned Chris Rigg last week against Borough. 17-year-old and doing things like that. Joe Bellingham the other night, banging in a goal. 19-year-old, we're young, we're hungry, and and we are a good side. We'll give anyone a good game. You know what I mean? Like, we've already had some massive wins this year. We haven't had an easy start. We've had some massive wins, so we'll see where we are. But I don't expect us to be top. But I'm just milking it for everything we get after the last season. You know what I mean? If you can't enjoy it now, you never will, guys. I'm telling you.
It's also asked this to you, Anne. What do you think?
Yeah, that's absolute bollocks, by the way. Pardon my French, but that is, why would one of the best talents that this country has got, never mind this league, go a league below? You know what I mean? Chris Rigg, mark my words, will play for England by the time he's 21. He will. He's just that good. There is absolutely no chance he'll go to Birmingham. And apparently, they only want to spend 10 million on him. I mean, yeah, that'll get his toenail. You know what I mean? We hold all the years to Rigg. He's got 2 years left on his contract. He's only a young lad. We've obviously, developed him from a really young age. We'll get whatever we get for him is 100% profit for us. Yeah. You know what I mean? It is what it is. He will leave, of course he will. You know what I mean? Because he's better than he will. His trajectory is going to be sky higher than what we are. You know what I mean? Like, fingers crossed he gets up with us. It'd be brilliant. But at the end of the day, he will leave. That's the way that we are developing players, and there's no chance he'll go to Birmingham. I'm sorry. I mean, you can, I don't want to say, if he goes to Birmingham, I'll do this, I'll do it after what happened last year with Cheltenham, you know what I mean? But, like, I'll be amazed if he goes to Birmingham, like, I've got to be honest.
I will go to the next slide now. Ben, I'm going to come to you first. Is there any standouts from Tuesday's fixtures in the Championship?
Well, I mean, I know Simon's just put it in there, and to be fair, look, I'm still going to praise Blackburn, but to be fair, I would go with Coventry's 3-0 win over Blackburn. I think they've needed that big time, and obviously they've had a fairly difficult start to the season. So yeah, that would have been probably my standout one. But again, as well, Stoke City. I guess you can't, look at teams that giving someone a bit of hiding 6-1 over Portsmouth. Yeah, okay, Portsmouth are having a tough start themselves as well, but to win 6-1 in the Championship is not an easy feat for any side, because as we always said, it's such an open league, and anyone can beat anyone on their day. So yeah, that's probably a big morale booster there for Stoke, who've been very in and out so far. So they needed that, so a little bit of a confidence booster for them.
It's quite worrying for Portsmouth, then, considering, like, I know they've had a hard start as well, but they still haven't won They picked up a few draws, but that's got to be a really massive guttering defeat. And no disrespect to Stoke, but Stoke aren't exactly pulling up any trees this season.
No.
You know, and some of Portsmouth's draws have been quite close as well. You know, like we mentioned the Leeds one before, where you know they probably should have won that game. And it's probably a different season for them if they get that win against Leeds early on. But you know, the draw with Sheffield United, we said, didn't we, on Saturday? You know, getting that draw and then going to Stoke and getting hammered 6-1. I mean, it's one of them ones, isn't it? Can you do it on a cold evening at Stoke? Obviously,
Dan, I'm gonna come to you, but you're not allowed to mention Burnley at the minute. Any other standouts from Tuesdays?
Preston. I mean, you're talking about a cold night in Stoke, but any cold night up north, nobody wants frostbite. And speaking of bats, Fleming Osmajic went and bagged two for Preston. Obviously, you know, allegedly, but still, I think Preston did a very good job.
Is it?
Yeah. I think Heckingbottom put him back in as a sort of way to say, look, don't just forget about what's going on outside of the football. Just continue with what you can do. And to be fair, he took his chance. So yeah, the Preston game would have to be up there. You know what? I dare say the Norwich Leeds game was. Norwich were 1-0 up for so long, and again, it's just like plucky Leeds just to get something out of it. But yeah, I think I were expecting Bristol City to do a lot better this season. I thought they'd have done a lot better than the start they've had. But yeah, I'd say the one that surprised me the most was PNE, which we have coming up on Saturday, which should be fun. Because for the last few years, while we've been in the Prem, we've been playing them in a friendly. Now it's not so much going to be like that. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm in work, but it's all good in the hood.
Jen, any standouts for you?
I know we were just talking about Rob, but I think getting the draw against Oxford could be a huge moment for him and his, obviously, management-wise. So I think getting that draw could have hopefully pushed the boys to think, okay, like, come on, we can do it at the weekend and hopefully get that win and hopefully he'll be able to stay there.
Rebecca?
I mean, it's been mentioned, but Stoke winning 6-1. And fair play to Tom Cannon. He's found his scoring boots at Stoke. Yes. Nobody can do, but I do feel as though he has struggled for a few matches to be able to get on the score sheet. But for him to bag 4 in one match, and the first 2 were incredible, the free kick, and then it was just one of them. It's great to see him playing how he should be.
Definitely. And apart from Sunderland, any other standouts? And then I will let you and Dan speak.
I would probably look at Cardiff getting the first win. That was like the first win of the season, wasn't it? Beating Millwall. Millwall's a difficult side. Millwall are always going to be difficult sides. I agree to a degree. I agree with the Luton one, but Luton were 2-0 up in that game. So you would think you're 2-0 up at home. And again, no disrespect, Oxford have cracked the side, but you need to see them. Need to see them games out. Norwich and Leeds. Leeds have a habit, don't they, of getting like late goals and that. What worries us about Friday, that you know, because they just don't stop, do they? But you know what, Leeds picked up. I know Ethan Ampadu out until January now, and also the other centre midfielder, and his name escapes. It's like Grell or Gree or something or other. Begins with a G. Anyway, he went off injured as well, so I think they're both out there. First choice midfield out for Friday night. So yeah. You know, just need a few more to pick up like little tight calves or hamstring injuries or something.
Right. I need to go and get a drink of water, so I will let you, Anne, and you, Dan, have your say on your game.
Go on, Dan, you go first. You're first time on for ages, you can go, mate. Go for it. Oh, we can't hear us. Dan!
Oh, he's gone.
All right, I'll talk about something then. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, he's back. There he is.
No, he's still not looking.
No, right. Sorry. We're just sit and watch this for the next 5 minutes. This is hilarious.
Yeah.
Can't leave for about 5 seconds and it all goes wrong, doesn't it? Can't function without her.
It's not working.
Right, I'll talk about Sunday. I'll talk
Go on,
about Sunday. Are you back?
No.
No. I'll talk about the lads then. So yeah, I mean, obviously I mentioned before with the defeat on Saturday to Watford, there was a little bit of pressure on us, I think, and we started off with a brand new light show, which was quite interesting, which was actually quite nice. I'm not into all that stuff. I think there's like places to have light shows, and I don't think football games are that. But to be fair to Sunderland, it was really good, and it got the crowd up for it, because normally like midweek games, I think pretty much everywhere are a little bit like, because you've just finished work, you're knackered, you kind of just want to get home. But although we didn't start well at all, to be honest, and Derby probably should have been 1-0 up. They had a couple of opportunities, but not too much of not like a clear-cut opportunity, but they did sort of start it better, and then we just grew into it. Probably should have went 1-0 up when Bellingham headed wide from a cross. We had another opportunity as well, which I think made it quite a smart save. But then I mentioned before, Joe Bellingham's just got the ball and they've made a mistake. He's got it, ran with it, 25 yards out, bang, top corner, man. There we go. He's off and running. He's off and running for the season, and great to see that, because I'm a massive fan of Joe. I think he's a wonderful footballer. I think he's got all the potential to be just as good as his brother, and that's saying a lot, because obviously his brother's one of the best players in the world. So, but I think he's a quality operator. And then we go 2-0 up just after half time. Another shout out for Dietrich, because Roman Mundell was key and instrumental in that one. Running to the bar and getting a great cross. Pulled over, and Wilson Isidore for the second game in a row has scored, which is mint for him, because that's his 2 games and 2 starts and 2 goals. So great for him. And we saw the game out, I would say, relatively well. We gave them a couple of opportunities. Anthony Patterson's had to make a couple of decent saves, but nothing too out the own. I will say for Derby, and Dan, I think you need to watch out when you play a Derby. Mendes Lang for Derby hasn't half been at the gym. Honestly, he looks like an NFL player. He looks as if he's got them shoulder pads on. He's huge.
He used to play for us, and it was the same. This was years ago as well, so I can only imagine how much he's
honestly, he was massive. And to be fair, he came on and played really well. But no, like I say, we saw the game out. The only kind of bad thing for us was, I thought the referee, even though we won 2-0, I thought the referee was horrendous. He was trying to play the advantage sometimes, then sometimes not. He was for, not even for booking players, but he was every single foul. He was bringing them over and explaining why he was doing it, and it just lasted so long. You know what I mean? And then right at the end, one of our young lads, Tommy Watson, who's only played a couple of games for us, he goes bursting through, and the referee brings it back for a free kick, and you've been playing the advantage all game. Just play the advantage. He was clean through 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. It's mint, he's going to score his first goal, and then the ref brings it back for a sudden free kick. So that was the only downside, was how poor he was for both teams, to be honest. But yeah, good win. As I mentioned before, we're back top. Listen, I know it's probably not going to last. It might not last this weekend, because we've got such a hard game tomorrow night against Leeds. I think Leeds are a great side, but they're without the first choice midfield. And if we play as well as we can do, and if we do the blueprint of the Middlesbrough game, where we did sit back a lot and net them come on to us and hit them on the counter attack, I think we've got a chance. So fingers crossed, I'll be there. So let's see. So I'm just enjoying it, Char. You know what I mean? As I've mentioned before, the amount of crap that I took for the last 6 months, everyone in the chat was having a right laugh at me, because I was furious. And to be enjoying watching this young side play really, really well. And we seem to have found another gem in Wilson Isidore. He looks tremendous, but he's on loan, so it'll be one of them ones where he should never fall in love with a loan player, but he seems to be loving it. So fingers crossed we can get him over the line at the end of the season. But I'm over the moon. So bring on Leeds. See what they can do.
I love a happy aunt. We will look at the table shortly as well to make you even more happier. But first, we will come to you, Dan. Do you want to talk Burnley again?
Yeah, why not? Why not? At least I can hear you guys this time. You know what? I actually worked out what it were. I literally wrote a bit of a write-up and thought I'll mention it, put it next to my laptop screen, and I've pressed the mute button, but I haven't seen that until I've managed to sort it all out, come back in. So, again, technology. But yeah, I don't know. It was sort of a poor game, really. I watched from work, from those perfectly legal things. And yeah, I mean, a penalty, the decider, Stonewaller, he's collided with him in the box. Did Darko Giarbi, I think he used to play for Leeds. Tripped Josh Cullen 25 minutes in. And we deserved it on the basis of play. Plymouth were strong defensively, as you expected them to be. You know, they've got recent wins, over Sunderland and Luton, but either side of the West Brom defeat. But they didn't even register a shot on target at all. So it was a poor showing. I think in the dying minutes, you could see Rooney's frustration because there were 6 minutes added on, and we kept it in the corner for 6 minutes. He wasn't best pleased. So when you've got a screaming Scouser on the sidelines, giving you crap, you can hear it, especially when the microphone's in quite close vicinity. So yeah, a decent win. This is what we're going to have to do this season. We knew it was going to be a season of adapting, change. We actually signed players that are men, not just boys. So we've got that a bit of a mix. And we ended up achieving European football by grinding out 1-0 wins. I'm not saying we're going to do that now, obviously, in the position we are, but you never know. Time will tell. It goes.
They might win the FA Cup, Dan.
Nah, Maidstone have got that wrapped up. But no, we're just riding the wave. We're not at our full throttle yet. We're still gelling, getting used to the players coming in. There's a lot of players that are, I dare say, different. There's a lot of different styles in there. I don't rate. I'm sorry to say, and I know he's a Burnley player, but Andreas Suntonje sounds like the most perfect footballer you'd want in your side. However, it's like he's won a competition. He's awful. Now, if he bags the winner next week, I'll probably be like, "Oh, best thing since sliced bread." But no, every game he's come on. He just runs around like an headless chicken. It reminds me so much of the Ali Dyer situation with Graham Souness. It's almost like this guy's managed to somehow become a championship player, and I don't know how. But other than that, we're second. I'll take it. Onwards and upwards.
What a name that is, though.
It does. It sounds like a nice scream you have on holiday, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll have a Suntonje, please. Lovely.
I know. Oh, it sounds really exotic.
Mm.
And then you say he's at Burnley. Burnley exotic. You can find a dog shit that's not gone white in Burnley, then the sun must have been out.
It's not too different where I live either. But before we look at the table, Luke has put this in the chat. He's put a shout out to Macaulay Langstaff, former Gateshead striker, for scoring his first championship goal for Millwall. And the time has come. The time has come. And who is top of the championship?
The lads. How will the lads?
Sunderland are top of the championship on 18 points. Burnley are second on 17 points. In the playoffs, we have Sheffield United on 16 points. West Brom are fourth on 16 points. Leeds United are fifth on 15 points. Blackburn Rovers are sixth on 15 points. And then in the relegation zone, we have Queen's Park Rangers, who are 22nd on 7 points. Portsmouth are 23rd on 4 points. And Cardiff City are bottom of the championship on 4 points, and I didn't read the goal difference out.
Yay! Go
I
on,
have to
Sean.
really concentrate. I'm doing it. I'm getting better. It
It's
would
so
have been
tight,
funny,
though,
but-
isn't it? So tight at the top,
it
it's
is.
tight at the bottom as well. It's just, yeah.
Wow.
You're going to be getting into like December before this proper evens itself out. This league.
100%.
Yeah.
So many good teams in it this year.
Oh, Simon, you had to mention an ex-Dale player. Come on, man. We'll have him back. I'll happily take Jamie Allen back. Happily.
Just looking at Plymouth as well, obviously, it was Jeno's already made the point about Rooney, and everyone had said before, and I don't only a point about the relegation zone, but you know, everyone made a point about Rooney like failing. They're not going to win a game this Saturday, and they lost the first few games in the Liverpool. But when they played us, they actually looked all right. You know, I don't think they'll go down, and they've got, and I can't remember like there's a Kazor or something, but Kazorgo plays on the left wing for them. He is a fantastic footballer. If they can keep a hold of him, they'll be absolutely fine, to be honest.
Simon, man, come on. There's always one. It's always you, Simon. I'm only joking. So we will now go to League One, and we will start with the weekend results. So, do you know what? I'm going to mix it up a bit. Rebecca, I'm going to come to you first. Any standouts from Saturday's games?
I mean, Lincoln getting a win. The form has been like, I think it was 2 draws in the last matches. So for them to get a win against, strong for them, takes them up the league. And it was just a good one for Lincoln, to be honest.
Jen, any for you?
It's got to be Reading. I just keep looking at Reading every week and just seeing how they're doing, how they're getting on, and to see them win a game and see all their supporters just ecstatic about the win. It makes you really happy to be a football fan sometimes, to see them winning the games and fighting against what the EFL are doing to them, and making sure that they are getting the points on there, and making sure that they aren't going to be relegated at the end of the season. And hopefully they can get all the off-season, off-the-pitch stuff sorted out before the end of the season.
100%. And I didn't actually realise until I was doing the graphics how much Huddersfield have dropped. Like, I'll have a quick look now, and I know we will get onto it.
That's why.
Honestly, Human, look at them. I know obviously we'll get onto the table after, but doing the graphics, I thought, because at the start I thought they had quite a good run, and they were near the top, and they're actually one of my favourites to go up as well. I think I tipped them. And then doing the graphics yesterday, I was like, wow. Wow. But it is pretty close. We'll look into it after. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that because it really shocked me. Ben, any standouts for you?
I think Graham's going to hate me for saying this, but I think Stevenage's win over Charlton's a good one for them. I think the Charlton bubbles burst a little bit in the last couple of weeks after fantastic start. We always say I think every team goes through that stage, don't they? They have a couple of bad results, and then suddenly they'll go and kick on again. So for Graham and all the Charlton fans, be hoping that this is their spell at the moment, and they're going to kick on after it. So I would probably say they're one. And also, to be fair, big credit to Leighton Orient. Good point for them against Wrexham. I think they're where they are at the moment, and the flying start that Wrexham have had. That's it's been a difficult time for Leighton Orient. I think probably the last year or so, and down in League One. But I think they'll be really pleased in that to have that on the board. A good clean sheet as well against the side that score goals for fun. That's a big morale booster for everyone in there at Brisbane Road.
Poor Bruno.
I feel sorry for Sam so much.
You can just think Sam's just
Oh,
sat there.
no.
Sam's
It's less heartache, but it's still the same, to be honest. But
oh, Sam.
Man United becoming the new Everton, going 2-0 up and then getting beat 3-2.
And they said that he never had a red card in his Man United career. Now he's had 2 in 2 games.
2 in a week.
Poor guy.
Wasn't Casemiro like that? Wasn't Casemiro like that? Like for Real Madrid, he'd not got any, and then as soon as he came to United, I think he got like a couple, didn't he?
Got a couple, didn't he, last year?
Yeah. Oh, poor Sam.
Just going to go and lie down in a dark room now.
I know. If you want to join us, Sam, you're more than welcome to come
Yeah.
on here. We'll have you. Graham has put about the Charlton game. Played poor, deserved nothing. NJ, is that what? Nathan Jones. Get it now. First spell of formation and it didn't work. He held his hands up at the end and said he'll fix it for Tuesday. That went well. Oh. Oh, bless. Sam has put, thank God I bought some caramel cookies. This is shambles. Everyone is saying about Bruno getting sent off as well. We won't talk about that. I know. Right. Where's Aled? Let me get Aled.
Oh God, no.
Aled's report, but I can't find it. I don't think he did one.
It'd be well up. It's well up.
Yeah. Well, he did one for the Stevenage game, what I've got, so I will do that one after. Anne, any standouts for you?
I do want to have a slight rant, but I will mention me kind of result of the weekend, well, not weekend, in that league was Blackpool beating Burton 3-0 because Steve Bruce is on a 100% record. He's on a 100% record at Blackpool. So, yeah. I mean, whatever I say now is moot compared to that comment there, innit? But, I kind of want to have a little rant about Birmingham because obviously we know like they're trying to buy the league, this, that, and the other.
And while you ran, I'm just going to go on mute because I'm actually crying at that comment.
No bother. Like Christian Bale, who's their captain, like came out and said, like, he came out with all this arrogant stuff, like, oh, we're going to get promoted, and 6 months in this league, this, that, and the other, and you're just making yourselves out to be more hated than everyone hates you anyway in that league, and now you're making yourself even more hated, like talking utter garbage like that. I mean, remember when we were in League One and we did something quite similar because we didn't get promoted in the first season, lost in the playoffs, and then Stuart Donald, our owner at the time, who is now at Eastleigh, said, "Oh, we want to be, we want to get 100 points next season. That's the aim." Like, how we mate, we're already like hated anyway because obviously we're Sunderland, we're the biggest team in that league, and getting like. Seeing things that just put massive pressure on, like also it's put pressure on Birmingham. I know they got away with that one on Saturday because Peterborough were 2-1 up with not long left. And fair play, Birmingham they're a good side. They won that. They won on Tuesday as well. But there will be a time when they come unstuck because these games happen thick and fast, don't they, in this league? And if you haven't got, they might have a strong team, but have they got a strong squad? And I don't know when. It's like what Graham says there. It's easy to say from Berwick when they've kind of bought the league, but it's just going to make every other team now want to beat them so much more. You know what I mean? And they will lose games. I don't think they'll go the whole season unbeaten, but I don't know about anyone else. Just sickened me a little bit. I've just like to read something like that. Just people just proper above the stations. Look, you're in League One, for God's sake.
I mean, it can only rile up teams as well, can't it? That's the thing. Like, everyone will see that and thinking, like, no, I'm not going to be spoken tonight, particularly the ones that in the playoff area and pushing towards automatic promotion. Like, I know some teams do that because they want to be hated a little bit, and I guess maybe that's the direction they're going in. But I think in the way that it's been going for Birmingham, I'm thinking like it's only like we're only October at the moment. I would have held on to that until possibly the new year. But yeah, that's the thing that's going to open themselves up now because any sort of slip up now, everyone's going to be on them like a rash. So yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how that all pans out now with teams going there in the next few weeks.
Yeah, they've got Charlton on Saturday. Graham's just said there they've got Charlton on Saturday. So I think we're all Charlton fans, aren't we, on Saturday? We have to agree, and we want to see Charlton back where they belong anyway. And just get them beat. I know you're playing badly, but teams off form sometimes. Sometimes David does beat Goliath, doesn't they? You know what I mean? She's still away.
She's still gone.
Honestly, that really like.
I think what we need to do, right? You can click this if you want, right? Those charity boxing matches that you have.
Yeah.
I think we need to have Simon versus Sam.
Yeah.
In the ring, settle it once and for all. You know what I mean?
We are not allowed VAR because Simon's a bit salty about VAR.
Like if Simon wins, Simon can mention VAR. if Sam wins and VAR never gets mentioned, and you forget about that goddamn FA Cup semi-final.
Yes.
That was 7 goddamn months ago. Get over it.
This is true. Sam is
Lover,
a
not
lover, not a fighter. But he will stick up for himself because it got told numerous times that this was dropped. And every week, Simon, every week it gets mentioned. Oh, even I'm getting bored of it now. Dan, any standouts for you?
Sam's comment.
Should we just end the podcast now? Because I don't
I'm
think
glad
anything
Simon said
will,
something.
like-
I'm glad Simon said something because when you said, "Oh, Sam coming here," I was going to say he's not going to have a choice next season. But I thought, no, I'll leave it. I'll leave it.
Oh.
And then obviously Simon did God's work for us all. So you know, it's just one of them. No, I hope Sam's all right. Like I say, it's football's a cruel game, and let's see if Bruno gets this one rescinded. Love you, Sam.
Right, I think we should move on now to Tuesday's games. Remember, someone I could always count on when it's an awkward moment. Any standouts for you? Rebecca?
Oh, wait, sorry, my iPad's cut out.
Don't leave it.
No.
Blackpool and Lincoln. I thought Blackpool had it 1-0. Then I think it was 95th minute equaliser for Lincoln. Blackpool had that match, and it was one of them where the possession and stats were going all their way. The play was going their way, but again, they just couldn't hold on. And I feel as though it was a case of the red card for Blackpool just slowed it down, and then Lincoln were just able to get it. It was a bit of a goal, corner header, so it's one of them. But fair play to Lincoln. Again, it's another important point for them because they are in the position that they should be in the league, in my opinion, because they do have a very strong squad, and they showed it last season and they're carrying on this season.
Quiet.
I just want to take a moment as well because after this comment, I feel like Sam is on fire, so I think he deserves a na 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 na. Sam is on fire.
The comment section's terrified.
Podcast getting cancelled tonight.
No.
Na 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 na. Jen, any standouts for you? Or if you want to talk about Reading again.
I mean, look at them. They're on a roll.
I know.
They're winning games now. They're doing all right. They're pushing on and they're persevering through everything, which is just incredible from everyone at the club, management, staff behind the scenes, players, even the families of the players. Obviously, they're going to be going through a tough time as well. Yeah. So I think it's very good that they're pushing on and they're getting the wins now. But I also wanted to mention Bolton as well. They seem to be pulling it back at the minute and getting a few wins here and there, and we're quite worried about them not even getting into the playoffs. So I think they're doing very well to pull it back now, and we'll see if they continue to do that.
Definitely. A comment as well. I think it was from before, but I've only just noticed this. Sorry, teacher. But Mansfield did win again. Mansfield are doing very well, she's put. Yeah. Very well. Ben, I'm going to come to you next. Any standouts?
You know what? Just before you said that, I was going to mention Mansfield, so I think she's done that.
Mention him again. Mention him again.
I think it's not more of a standout result, but it's just more a significant result for them because, it's mental promotion. I don't think anyone, in their right minds would have had them third in League One at this point. Because to be perfectly honest, I thought they'd be one that, being near the bottom. So yeah, that's a big credit to them. And obviously, it's been, a difficult week for Crawley Town. Obviously, they've lost Scott Lindsay, recently. But
what is going on? The world's going to end. God, Sam.
God. Mental.
Sorry, Ben. I thought
no,
Sam
you're fine,
deserved
you're
that
fine.
moment.
That's the thing. Last week for Crawley, obviously they've lost their manager Scott Lindsay to Milton
Yeah.
Keynes, and I think that's going to have a huge effect because I thought one of their best chances of staying up is making sure that they kept hold of him because I thought he was going to be one to get him through it. And now that he's gone, I can't see their chances of staying in League One now. To be honest, I think it's going to be very difficult for them. But yeah, Mansfield, that's a massive amount of credit to them. But again, I'm like Jen as well. With Reading, they've been through absolute hell over there, in the last few weeks, let alone the last few years, really. And the fact that their players are putting it on for their supporters now, we're knowing that what's going around the club, like there must be some sort of pressure around them, even though it's not directed at them, it's all directed at the ownership. I think like that's the thing. The players can only do their job and on the pitch, and I think they deserve a huge amount of credit for how they've stayed focused and have managed to pull themselves back. Because look, there's 2 points off the playoffs at the moment. Like no one would have probably expected that, after what the turmoil they've had. So yeah, I really hope that continues for them because they're a club that should be at least in the Championship. So I really do hope now they can kick on and put a bit of form in and just pull themselves away. That's the thing from the bottom four, because obviously if any danger of points deduction that might come into play, so you want to make sure that they're well away from it as much as possible. So hopefully that will be the case.
Oh bless! I've just seen Sean's comment. Look, straight to the point. He's a Northampton fan. He's put, you don't get a double match report from me, fortunately, Shah, because we were pony. Straight to the point. No, I like it. And yes, I agree with this. We need to do an all about Reading episode. So if you are up for it, me and Sam will get onto it. Please, please, please contact me on Twitter. If you have me on Twitter, definitely, because I'd love to do a Reading episode. Definitely. Right. Do you know what, Dan? I'm going to come to you.
Rotherham.
You weren't paying any attention then, so what? You know what? I'm going to drop it. Just shouting the name. Rotherham.
I was listening and daydreaming. You know when you're sort of like watching the football in the background, and then you just sort of like,
you're like Timmy off South Park there.
I do it every week, but if I see someone's not paying attention or looking a different way, I'll go to them. It's usually Claire I go to.
I'll remember that next time. For next time. Luckily, I was sort of prepared. But yeah, Rotherham, obviously, they've managed to grab their first away victory in 41 league games. Like that's some achievement. Left it till literally the last kick of the game. I think 90+2, Sam Nom struck. They could have gone 1-0 up early doors. I think a free kick came off the Liam Bennett's head at Cambridge, and it bounced off the far post. But Cambridge as well, they've had a club record 8 league matches from the start of the EFL season without a win. That's something. That's really bad. So yeah, massive shout out to Steve Evans in his second or third stint as manager, and I don't know what it is about him, but he's got the most weirdest like fist bumps. He's like an aggressive man in a drive-through or something. The way he starts throwing his hands about like that. But yeah, I'd say the Rotherham one and Exeter. I don't know why I have a soft spot for Exeter. It's probably because I've got family down there. But yeah, good win for them over Orient.
I'll let you have all them. Next time, pay attention. I'm joking.
Promise.
Is there any that haven't been mentioned you'd like to mention, or you don't have to?
Well, obviously Stockport beating Shrewsbury Town. I know Ethan Pye's got Claire's massively high on him, isn't she? Saying he's going to play in the Premier League and stuff. He's probably a player that I think like the likes of Sunderland might go after in the summer, because he does seem a really, really good player. But can I very quickly, because Claire's not here, can we go back to Saturday's game? Because I need to say something.
Of course.
Claire's not here. Barnsley versus Stockport. 90th minute equaliser for Stockport, Shah.
Louis Barry against Barnsley.
And that's it, I'm done.
I love it.
I've got to think as well, though. You know, if you look at the league table, how well, obviously Crawley are struggling, but how well Mansfield, Wrexham, and Stockport are all doing. You know, second, third, and fifth in the league, and they came up last year. That's brilliant. You know, all three of them are doing so well, and I don't think anyone expected Mansfield Town to be doing that well. So fair play to Cloughie there. Like, he's having such a good season. So fingers crossed they can all three of them stay up there. I'm not really all that asked about Wrexham, but I've got family in Mansfield, and I always watch out for their results. And obviously with Claire being here, we all love Stockport, don't we? So
yeah,
we are.
Just quickly before I read the table out, I do have a couple of match reports. So I did find Aled. So obviously, I think Stevenage beat them 1-0. He put Stevenage away. I was expecting a tough game because of their previous game, but in the game, we didn't really play well. No urgency to go forward, no drive to get a result. And then he's put Stevenage deserved a win and had more desire. And I can't even say that works. I'm stupid. Is it impetus? Impetus to get a win? I'm that dumb.
Impetus.
Thank you. At least we've got a brain box on the pod.
I was paying attention then, Shaw. I was paying attention.
Thank you. A great goal from them, and he could have scored one more, but thought we felt with that one well enough. And then we have Luke, bless him. I'm sure he will mention it after, but he's put, can we blur out the Crawley Town's results, please? I'm already sick of that club.
Do you not think, though, with that, and I totally get that, everyone's really disappointed that Rob Elliott's gone there, like Gateshead fan, but you look at like what Gateshead are doing. Obviously Mike Williamson left last year to go to Milton Keynes Dons. Rob Elliott's gone to Crawley, and it's got to be for that, like a really good thing of how well Gateshead are doing. That
definitely
big teams like that are wanting their manager. Like teams from 2 divisions high, 1 division high are wanting their manager. So for me, yes, it's upsetting, but what Gateshead have got is a base of playing really, really good football, good fast-flowing football. Yeah. A manager's going to come in there. They'll get a manager no bother because nearly every manager who's available, like non-league wise, will want to go there. And they've lost 2 being managers, probably get decent compensation as well. I think it shows how well Gateshead are doing, to be totally honest with you.
Definitely. To be fair as well, please correct me if I'm wrong, Luke, but I'm sure the one below Rob Elliott has now stepped up as interim. And I feel like, didn't Rob Elliott do the same when obviously they lost the manager? So I feel
he has. Yeah, I can answer that as well because it's Ben Clark, who I know relatively well. He's an ex-Sunderland lad, very, very good coach as well. So I'm over the moon for Clarky, to be fair, that he's got that, and I hope he does wonders there. And I do hope he gets them promoted, to be honest, because he's a proper top lad as Ben Clark. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, I feel like the structure there as well. Like, obviously, they've lost the manager last season. Then Rob Elliott has come in and he's done wonders there again. And then I feel like, obviously, you mentioned Clark then stepping up. And I feel like with Gateshead, they do have that brilliant structure and everything about them that if they do lose a manager, they've got the next person to step up. And I'm really like, that's what I really like about Gateshead and the club and the football they play, because I feel like they're all on the same page. And once they do lose a manager, the next one comes in, and then hopefully, I say hopefully, I don't mean that in a bad way, and I want them to progress with Gateshead, but I feel like with Gateshead, they're bringing all these young managers on and kind of building them, and that's one thing that I really respect them for doing, and I feel it's brilliant, as much as it must be frustrating for Luke. And obviously, you're seeing his club and he thinks, oh, yeah, we're going somewhere here under Rob Elliott. It must be so frustrating as a fan for him. But I feel like at the same time, it is also a massive positive for Gateshead.
Definitely.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
If that does make sense.
I totally agree with you. Yeah.
Oh, Kieran sent us a super chat. Thank you so much. Even though he has mentioned Newport a bit too early, we are still on League One. But thank you, Kieran. Graham as well, he has put about the Charlton game. We were awful Tuesday, didn't play at all for 80 minutes. 3-2 flattered us. First real test for Nathan Jones. I got that right this time. Since he took over, he needs to figure this out. 3rd to 13th with no caps within 10 days. We are back. Bless him. Bless him. I will quickly. No, you've not missed League Two. We are on League Two next. I will quickly read out the table and then we will get on to League Two. So Birmingham are top. What a shock! Who would think if you spent loads of money, you would be top?
Only 5 points clear.
Exactly. They are. If there is any Birmingham fans, I am sorry, by the way. Please come back next week. It's only banter. They are top with 22 points. Wrexham are second on 17 points. Mansfield are third on 17 points. Lincoln are fourth on 15 points. Stockport County are fifth on 15 points. Blackpool are sixth on 15 points. And then in the relegation zone, we have Crawley Town, who are 21st on 7 points. Burton Albion, 22nd on 4 points. Shrewsbury Town are 23rd on 4 points. And Cambridge United are rock bottom of League One, and they have 1 point. Right, League Two we will get on to. Obviously, Rebecca, you didn't have a game, did you, on Saturday?
No.
Jen, Jen, do you want to talk about Morecambe and Notts County? Get it out of the way.
You know what? Going into this game, right, I thought we was going to get absolutely battered. Like, I was expecting, 4-5-0. By half-time, we were down, 3-0 or whatever. But I have to say, Notts County aren't the team that they're made out to be. I don't understand how they're so high up in the table, because for some reason they're not as good as they're meant to be. We scored within 2 minutes and I was a bit like, right, okay, what's going on here? This doesn't happen. We're usually on the other end of being down 1-0, so I was just like, right, what's going on here? But I think as a team, obviously I saw them on Tuesday, I'll get onto that. I've not been to a game yet. My first game was Tuesday. But as a team, I don't think we're as bad as the table is putting us at. Yeah. And obviously we spoke about we've only had 1-0 losses, and we've never been higher than a 1-0 loss. So to get a point against Notts County, a team that is second in the league and is probably going to go up, I'm pretty certain they're going up, I think is huge for us and the lads. Obviously we wanted the win, but I think going into it as fans, we were all like, okay, if we can get a draw out of this, I'll take it. Because every point we can get on the board is huge now. So I think going into it, it was a bit like, okay, we might get battered. We might not do anything. But to get a draw was huge. But I think the worst thing for us was losing Lee Angle. He has been massive for us. Huge, huge player. Our injuries are stacking up now. I mean, we're only a squad of 20. And I think at the minute, we've got 4 injuries. So it's like, but what happens if we get more injuries? We've obviously got our academy lads, but do you really want to push these under-18s into a team that are under pressure to get a win? And they're only under 18, they're only young lads. That's not the pressure that they want right now. But I think losing Lee Angle was massive, and I think that did show on Tuesday night as well. But I think getting a point against Notts County was probably, it could be huge come the end of the season. That point could be the difference between going down and staying up. So I feel like winning against a team like that is massive, but that's Morecambe. We go out and we play against these teams right at the top and play really, really well. And then we'll go to Accrington on Saturday and we'll play shocking. But I don't know what it is, but for some reason we play really good against the high teams and really bad against the bottom teams. It just doesn't make sense sometimes.
Oh, are you going to be friends after the game?
We're always friends.
Will you have to do?
All right, she's got 3 ex-Morecambe players. She's fine. They know how we work. It's right.
They've got Donald Love.
They've got Donald Love. They've got Rawson. They've got Nelson. They're fine. They know how we work.
Got one of ours in Dara Costello as well. Aki have got it all. Have they got anyone from Maidstone as well? Let's have a full one. A Maidstone and a Rochdale player. We need them all.
Unfortunately not. We ain't good enough for that.
Same.
As for Tom White, we don't know what his injury is. We know that he went down was it 4 weeks ago? And he said he felt something go in the back of his calf. And We've not
Probably
seen him
he's
since,
Carlton.
yeah, we don't actually know what's going on, but he's walking around fine. So he's not. I don't think he's back in training yet, but he seems to be all right. And he was huge for us when we got him. So I really, really hope he comes back soon because he's an unbelievable player. But Adam Lewis as well. Adam Lewis, I don't know where that man's come from, but we got him as a free agent, and he is a little whippet. That's all I'm going to say about him. He's here, there, and everywhere. I am obsessed with him.
Love that. Before we move on to the rest of the fixtures, should we read Kieran's out or should we do him dirty and not? I'm joking.
Oh, you know, they don't do very often.
I'll read it. So
Where is he
Newport
anyway?
2.
Where are you, Kieran? Where are you?
I know.
He's not coming on.
He said he's purposely not on this week because he didn't want everyone to think he only comes on when they win. So he's deliberately not come on for that reason, to prove a point.
But they'll lose again and he won't come back on.
Exactly. Thank you, Rebecca. So, Newport 2, Crew 1. What a game of football. Evans, who signed from Taunton, scored a worldie from centre-back, and our Matt Baker scores a quality header. Could have gone either way, but we're so back. Kieran, don't jinx yourselves. Lee Bell saying our 2 goals were gifted was funny. How can you get gifted a screamer from outside the box by a centre-back? I don't know. Really
Well,
don't
I might
know.
start off. I don't know.
As well, Jen, Dietrich says, Adam Lewis looks like such a great player.
He's just like a little, well, you know, one of them little small football players that you get that are like 5 foot, whatever they are. He's like that. He's meant to be a left back, but at the minute he's playing like CDM, and he's so good at the minute. I'm like obsessed with watching him.
And apparently, it came from Newport.
Oh, I know we got him as a free agent, but I never looked where he was before us.
Just a conversation going on between Kieran and Luke as well. So, standout games. I'm going to come to you, Rebecca. Any standouts from Friday or Saturday in League Two?
I mean, Aki keeping
Friday shouldn't be anyway.
Aki keeping a clean sheet against Wimbledon was a great one.
Love it.
Not having to travel 5 hours was great. No, I mean, the Carlisle and Grimsby match, it was very unfortunate for Carlisle. Headed into half-time 2-1 up, and that would have been a huge 3 points for them. But I do have to just say, massive thank you to Harvey Rogers for scoring a 90th minute winner for Grimsby, because that keeps Carlisle closer to us now. So the gap isn't as far away as it could be. But it was just quite ironic, the fact it's an ex-Aki player scoring. But yeah, it was an unfortunate one for Carlisle, but just couldn't hold on in the dying minutes.
If I do turn my camera off, by the way, everyone, I'm blowing my nose because it's doing me dirty at the minute. I keep sneezing and I've got like such a bad cold and it's doing me dirty every Thursday on this podcast. So that's why I'm disappearing. I'm not being rude, I promise. Kieran mentioned as well that we've got Bradford on Monday. So if we lose, I will not be present. We all know how much he loves Bradford.
I'm in Bradford.
Dan, is there any standouts on here for you?
I'm going to say the Harrogate win over Bradford, to be fair. I think I predicted Harrogate to be one of the teams that were languishing this season, and I'm sorry to any Harrogate fans.
I don't think we have
chat.
them in here anyway.
No.
Never seen one yet.
Too posh in Harrogate. Too posh in Harrogate.
They won't watch us.
No. YouTube, do you not realise I'm from Harrogate? I have etiquette.
I think Claire scared them all away last season, didn't she?
I don't think it's YouTube that's the problem. I think it's us.
It was a good win for them. Fantastic win for them. Obviously, puts them in 18th. They're 2 points behind Bradford now. So yeah, I'm going to say that Harrogate got a decent win there.
Ellis Taylor scored for Harrogate as well. He's a under 23 lad from us. Cracking lad. So I wish him all the best.
just on the other side of that, though, we do have Dietrich in the chat, and obviously she is a Bradford fan. We love Dietrich as well. She has put, not much to say about us. Hate losing to Harrogate. We had more possession and a goal from Andy Cook. It just wasn't our day, unfortunately.
Pull your fingers out, Bradford. Come on.
I know. Anne, any standouts for you?
Yes, because it's going to be for like both Saturday and Tuesday, but we haven't mentioned Fleetwood a lot this season.
We can mention them now.
I mentioned them now, yeah. I said last week, no, we hadn't mentioned Walsall much, and Walsall were like just sneakily making their way up the table, weren't they?
Yeah.
And obviously they've got a good win now, but Fleetwood Town, like, away to Cheltenham, it's a difficult place to go. A team who got like relegated last year, and obviously Fleetwood did as well. But Charlie Adams seems to have turned the tide there. They seem to be doing really well. So fair play to him, you know what I mean? And I know they got like was it Walsall that hammered? It was Walsall or Gillingham who they hammered on Tuesday night. So, massive well done to them. I'm sure it was Walsall.
Yeah,
6-2. So, massive well done to Fleetwood there. And like I said, they're just going under everyone's radar, aren't they? So, I like to mention sort of teams we don't really talk much about. So,
and we can't talk about them now.
There we go.
We can't. They're not the enemy anymore. So if there's any Fleetwood fans, please feel free to come on. We like you now.
Yeah.
Do you know what, as well, with Fleetwood, I'm pretty confident that they've not got the biggest of squads. I think it's quite a small squad as well. So from what he's doing, like you mentioned, Charlie Adams is really doing wonders there.
He is, yeah. I've got to say as well, I know, Deep was saying about Bradford, I really hope to turn it around, because I did predict them to be quite good this season. Obviously, I think
Dietrich, you got no chance now.
She's out there, exactly. And she is out everyone's favourite person in the chat, isn't she? So she is. Fingers crossed to turn it around.
We won't speak about the chat though after before, because it's gone very quiet.
It has gone quiet, hasn't it? I think we're a Coventry fan short.
Ben, hi. It went really awkward, then. I didn't know what to say. Any standout results for you?
I would have probably said Morecambe's draw against Notts County is probably a very good point for Morecambe. They needed that, against one of the top sides in the division. There's probably a little bit less pressure on Morecambe. I think, as Jim was saying, I think they've struggled against the bottom sides, but doing well against the top sides. Maybe because that's a bit that less pressure on them, maybe. Because their best chance of staying up is getting those points in and around them. So if they can nick points here and there off some of the top sides, then they've got every chance. And I think the big one for me was probably Chesterfield's win against Doncaster. I know Doncaster finished the game with 9 men, but what a big win on the road for Chesterfield. They've picked up a couple of good results on the road. Obviously, they beat Crewe 5-0. They've done Doncaster 3-0. It pushed their goal difference right up, I have to say. So yeah, they've again, they could be one of the dark horses this year. I mean, albeit I'd expect them to be honest to be up there after how convincingly they won the National League last year. I would have thought they'd be probably challenging for a playoff position, because a couple of you see National League teams doing quite well. They always establish themselves at this level, and I can see them maybe nicking one of the last playoff spaces this year. So and they've got plenty of good experience in that team as well. The likes of Paddy Madden and Will Griggs and all that. So I'm sure they'll be fine. But yeah, that's a big result against a side that will be right out there this year. So yeah, massive credit to Paul Cooks.
You know what? You know how I am really, really poor at predicting things. I put Luke Molyneux in my fantasy EFL team on Saturday, and he got sent off.
Can you just say right now that Ebbsfleet are going to absolutely batter us on Saturday?
Yeah,
I bet it'll come true. I bet you. We will quickly go to Tuesday's games. And before I come to you, Rebecca and Jen, Anne, who is your standout on Tuesday's fixtures? Anne?
I'm sorry. I was just trying. Rotherham. Sorry about that. Obviously, I'll not mention Fleetwood because I didn't mention that. I think I'm going to go back to Notts County because obviously they, Morgan got a fantastic draw with Notts County. And I watched a little bit of the highlights of Notts County versus Carlisle because I don't know why. I just watched it and I thought Notts County, to be fair, they won 2-0, but they're very, very indebted to the goalkeeper, Alex Bass, because he made 4 or 5 fantastic saves. So, fair play to that. And I keep mentioning, I think I mentioned every week about 6-7 times, but he's also ex-Sunderland. So, I'm good to see him do really well. But yeah, I mean, I mentioned it before, Fleetwood beating Walsall 6-2 is an unbelievable result. That's probably the result of the week, maybe, Stoke beating Portsmouth, but you probably expect Stoke to beat Portsmouth. But Fleetwood away to Walsall to flying 6-2. But probably for me, that's the result of the week.
Can I just say as well, similar to the Huddersfield one I was saying before, when I were doing the graphics and someone who we actually mentioned last week and we were going on about Artel, look at Grimsby now. They're 8th.
Yeah.
Like, wow. They've had a couple of really good results and I feel like we've not really spoke enough of them, like getting these results. So, yeah, fair play. And it was a bit of a shock, a bit like the Huddersfield one where I thought, what's going on here? Last time I knew they were near relegation.
Are you like that every week at Sunderland, put them top of the league, Sharp? Well, what's going on here?
Oh, no, I'm like, oh, yeah, Sunderland is still top. Way. Ben, any standouts for you?
Well, I mean, we've just mentioned them, haven't we? Grimsby. I think
I've done that to you twice. I'm so sorry.
No, that's perfectly fine because look, you can't ignore them. The fact that, like I said, they have really pushed up and a win away at Gillingham where they've been pretty relentless at home so far this season. I think that's, going to go there on a Tuesday night, long old journey for them as well. That's a superb win for them. I mean, that's the thing. There's some real big standouts. I mean, look, we can't. I mean, it's been mentioned already, but Fleetwood's win over Walsall City comfortably third at the moment. To concede 6 goals at home, it'd be interesting to see what reaction now Walsall have at the weekends because. When you concede amount of goals like that, when you've been picking up results left, right, and centre, it's almost like a bit of a comeback down to earth now. And we always say the top sides are the ones that react best to the ones that to their bad results. And this will be a big test of their character now for Walsall. But yeah, again, massive credit to Charlie Adams Fleetwood who really picking it up now and put themselves right in the older promotion mix at the moment.
Dan, any standouts for you? Don't know if you want to talk about this one as well, just to annoy Kieran. Joking.
Well, no, I think I probably not so much about the games, but Wimbledon, I think obviously it's nice what Newcastle did for them.
Yeah.
In terms of getting, helping them out to be able to sort out their pitch and things like that. It's nice that, and as much as it probably pains, but
well, they can afford it, Dan. To be fair,
yeah, they can. They can. But yeah, that's probably the only positive from League Two. I think. We're going to say what Ben said about Fleetwood. They're absolutely on a rampage at the minute, doing the bits. Dare I say, Charlie Adam and Ross Wallace was in Burnley's under-21s set up before they took the Fleetwood job. So hopefully they've took some successes from there, just to the COD Army. But they seem to be flying, and it's nice to see teams like Fleetwood up there. Because I thought they've had the chance to get to League One and the Championship. I think they got to a playoff final, weren't they? I think when they had players like Antoni Sarcevic and stuff like that. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm going to go Fleetwood and a nice little nod to Wimbledon. Now having the money to sort out Wimbledon Beach.
Tranmere Rovers show us put as well. Uncle Nick will be bloody happy with that. Absolutely shite we were. Tranmere Rovers won. Swindon Town won.
Because they've dropped Josh Hawkes. That's all it is. Josh Hawkes has been dropped. Get him back in and you'll be fine.
Rebecca and Jen, before I come on to your games, have you got any standouts from these that haven't been mentioned?
I don't think so. I think Fleetwood is the one in it this week. Like, everyone's going to be talking about that one.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first then? Who wants to talk football? None? You mean like National League? Rock, paper, scissors?
Which is a bit more positive.
I won't say positive. It was one of them, right? it's annoying and it's frustrating because we played great and we should have been like 3-0 up. Sorry, DJ, by the way, before I go on about this. We should have been 3-0 up before half time, but we wasn't taking the chances on goal. And that seems like our issue at the minute. Like, we're not taking the chance. Like, if you're in the box or you're outside the box, just shoot. Anything can happen. You could bag it from the halfway line like Cole Stockton did a couple of seasons ago. Just shoot it. Because at this point, we need goals. And I generally don't know what happened with our goal either, because no one really celebrated. Just kind of, we all thought it went in the side netting, but it ended up in the goal and no one knew what happened. So everyone was just kind of stood there like, oh, we scored. No one really celebrated. It was like this awkward goal. Everyone was like, what's going on? Did we score? Oh, yeah, we scored. Let's celebrate. Then we find out it's an own goal. So I was just like, all right, okay. But we played really, really well. Like, for the game, first time I've seen the boys, they're an amazing team. They work, like, so well together, considering, like, they're pretty much all new. Again, Adam Lewis. I could speak so highly of him. He's incredible. Bradford had no chance with him on the pitch. And then as soon as he was taking it off, they scored. And it was like, great. Because we were all like, oh, this is it. We were checking the table at halftime going, oh, look, we're 21st. We're out of the relegation zone. Carlisle are losing. Accrington are losing. Sorry. And I was like, oh, that's it. Like, we've done it. That's it. We're out the relegation zone. We've got our first win. That's it. We're going to keep climbing now. We've got Accrington on Saturday. It'll be great. But then they scored and the mood just went right down in the ground. It was just like, great. I don't think it's bad to get a draw, but when the win was like right there, it was like the last dying minutes. It's frustrating, but it's also like, it is what it is at the minute. We just need to be taking the chances on goal. Yeah. Just take them. If they don't go in, they don't go in. It's not the end of the world. But now we need to really start taking the chances up front. And it's just one of them where the win is coming. I can see it. Like, the boys are an incredible team. It's just getting it over the line. As soon as we get that win, I think we can push and keep getting wins after wins after wins. I think it's just getting that first win. And then we'll be there and we'll be fine. So hopefully Accrington on Saturday will be our first win. I'm not going, but Liam is because he's working it. But I will be watching it by a very legal stream at home.
Rebecca, do you want to hit back at Jem first before you go into the report?
Sorry.
Got something sassy to say?
There's honestly nothing to say. It's one of them, Saturday, I can see Morecambe winning it, I can see us winning it, but the description of our defence is leaky by every commentator that we heard on the Tuesday night, and that is our issue. It was a bit more of an improvement from us, but it's annoying to yet again go ahead and then it all just fall apart, and that just seems to be the script of Aki this season. We've been 2-0 up and we draw 2-2. And it's like those matches we should be taking and we're just not. We did make one change, which was bringing in Billy Crellin, who I mentioned last week on the podcast, who's our keeper on loan from Everton. It was a case of we had to make the change. Kelly, it is what it is with him. We've had chances where there's goals he could have saved, but then the same happened on Tuesday. We did take the lead through Dara Costello, so thank you, Dan, for him.
You're welcome.
It was a nice goal, very nicely worked, and I mean, it was one of them where he hit it. We're all there going, that's going wide. Oh, it's in. Similar to like Jem, we're like, oh, are we celebrating? Are we not? Is it in?
Yeah.
Wide? Like, what are we doing? But then 1-0 up, and it seemed more positive. We did have a chance before then through Kelsey Mooney. He had a header, clear on goal, great cross from Sean Worley, but I mean, Evans for them was incredible in goal. Like, the saves he was pulling off were like they deserved the win just purely for his saves. Half time, we're like, right, 1-0 up. we'll come back out, not sit back like we have done, keep pushing, and we'll hopefully either get a second or we'll just win 1-0. We did come out and we were the better side for like 10 minutes, I'd say. Very positive, chance after chance after chance. But then we have been hit with an injury. Jake Batty, who has become one of our most influential players. So we now have no left back. So Seb's out injured, who was covering left back. Jake Batty's out, so God knows who's playing on the left at weekend. So that will be an interesting one. We still don't know how long Seb's out for. There's been no news on that. And then we don't know about Jake. It was just one of them. He went down, got back up, and everyone was booing him and like just calling him a time waster. But he didn't look right. So whether it was illness, injury, or whatever, we're not sure. And then Cheltenham, the subs made the impact that they needed to. I think he was on 10 minutes. Manny Norwich, I think he was called. He got there first. It was a defensive mistake from us. Bill Krellin kicked it away. Defence just stood there. Like, it's right. He won't score. And then next thing he chipped it over him. So it's one of them. It could have been cleared, but it was annoying. And then they doubled their lead through a header set piece from Ryan Bowman. We did almost have it in injury time through Aaron Pickles. He came on for Jake Batty, but again, incredible save from the keeper. It's just, we are seeing a small improvement, but it's not enough. We're still bottom of the league. We've still not won, not kept clean sheet. And I think Saturday is going to be the make or break for us. Because if we're to lose on Saturday, teams are pulling away. And that's what's scary for us. Yes, we are a very fairly new squad, and we are missing our go-to players like Jack Nolan, Joe Pritchard, who have moved on to Gillingham and MK Dons. But it is one of them. We do have a good team, and we are scoring. We just can't seem to hold on. If matches were 80 minutes, we'd be flying up that lead. But unfortunately, they're 90, and I don't know if they realise that at times. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens on Saturday if we are to lose. I think fans are starting to call for a change. What change that is, we don't know. But if anything needs to happen, it needs to happen now, but before it's too late and before we've got that I next to our name, because it could happen very soon.
The one thing you don't want to do though, Bex, is like you say, you've had that stability with Coleman and Jimmy Bell for so long that when a change comes about, if it doesn't quite work out at first, it's so quick to just go bang, right, we'll change that. I'm not, obviously we all know that John Coleman and Jimmy aren't ever probably going to come back after what went on. But do you feel like it's time for the manager to go, or do you think that he still needs a bit more time if it comes to the point where, say, January, you're still sat in that position? Is it like, right, give somebody a window and a chance to try and turn the tide a bit?
Yeah, I do. It's an odd one, because the end of last season, we weren't the team that we should have been. Like, as soon as John and Jimmy went, even before then, the wheels fell off for us. And it's we had the points to be able to stay up, but it did just seem to be, right, well, there was nothing from them. So whether it is a case of management or whether it was just the team, it's one of them. If things had changed, stick with him till January. It just needs to be a case of we need to see more improvement than what we are, because it's scary and you just don't know what can happen, because League 2 is such a vast league and it's such a one that can turn as quick as it can. So I'm happy with him there if he's to get the results that we need, but if we're not getting them, then it is what it is.
So, Shah, the one question, I've got one more question for Bex as well. Obviously, with...
I feel like I'm in an interview.
It's like Andy's all over Twitter and he deactivates it and activates it more than all else, honestly. But is there any murmurs of a club sale or been any interest or out?
I think we're still up for sale on Twitter. I think that's it. He went on his little tweeting rampage.
He's hoping Elon Musk will buy it. That's probably what he's doing. Let's do it through Twitter and hope that Elon will get in touch.
Yeah, all I know is that the tweet was put out to say the club's up for sale. I think he got offered a Freddo and a half pack of pasta or something like that, but he turned that one down. But yeah, we've not heard anything. So whether we are still up for sale, whether we're not, or whether we are being sold for a Freddo, we don't know.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
Glad to say you've got the job.
Just coming on now to the League 2 table. So top of the table, we have Gillingham on 19 points. Notts County are second on 18 points. Walsall are third on 18 points. In the playoffs, we have Barrow. They are fourth on 16 points. Doncaster are fifth on 16 points. Fleetwood are sixth on 15 points. And Port Vale are seventh, also on 15 points. And then, I'm so sorry, girls, but in the relegation in 23rd, we have Morecambe on 4 points. And Accrington are bottom, I'm sorry, Rebecca, of the League 2 table on 3 points. I'll try and skip it really quickly. But Luke, I know you wanted to say about everything at Gateshead and about the managerial shenanigans. So please type it out. Ben, I'm going to come to you. Is there any standouts on here in the National League for you?
I mean, I would have probably said Gateshead's result against Southend, to be fair, because they're going to Root Salt is never the easiest task for any side in the division. So, yeah, I think after they've had a couple of bad results, Gateshead, I think they've sort of bounced back really well now, haven't they? Sort of sticking their way back in the playoffs. Good way, long trip for them. And certainly probably a pleasing one back for their supporters. And I might have also said the derby, the local derby between Woking and Sutton. That's always a tasty one. That and both sides sort of in and around each other at the moment. Woking have had an excellent start, but Sutton, just keep grinding out the results at the moment. They're very steady at the moment. I think they're just in and around that playoff area, or near enough in the playoff area. So yeah, that's probably the two big standouts of the weekends. Other than that, it's pretty standard, to be honest, really, for most in the division. But I think that's always going to come at some point, isn't it? Where start to pull away a little bit in that division. But yeah, they're probably the two big standouts of the weekend, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. One that I was actually, to be fair to, Wealdstone at FC Halifax Town, and for a little bit they were actually 2-1 up, and then they got one sent off, and then obviously Halifax equalised, and I think it's just frustrating for them at the minute. They're struggling, aren't they, Wealdstone, and it's them kind of moments where it's so frustrating because you think, oh, come on, you're going to get some out of this game. And then a sending off, I think it was a second yellow, so I don't think it was a straight red. But still, it's like, oh. But one I wanted to talk about as well, because obviously they are top of the table now, but Barnet, obviously, AFC Fylde are struggling at the minute. I mentioned before, Chris Beach obviously got sacked. But Barnet at the minute, I just want a quick look at the table, but they were predicted to be a lot of people tipped them, didn't they, to win it this season. And it's one of them where they were quite inconsistent, weren't they? But they've managed to obviously pick the place at the top at the minute. So I'm hoping they can be moved. They're only 2 points ahead, so I'm hoping they can. But I think Barnet will still be up there now they've found some consistency anyway. I will get to your comments in a bit, Luke. I will read them out. But yeah, it's pretty standard. Hartlepool as well. I thought they were going to hang on because they hung on for so long, obviously, against Forest Green. I mentioned last week with Hartlepool, I was really, really worried for them. But then, obviously, Forest Green found a way. They did get a goal. But, yeah, it's just worrying me at the minute, Hartlepool. And we mentioned it, didn't we, Ant?
Yeah.
You weren't it really
good.
Worrying?
It's not long good. They're another one of those clubs who's desperate for a takeover. We mentioned it so many times, don't we? But you've got to include Hartlepool in that as well.
Yeah. Another team as well. I actually watched a game as well, and I don't know why I decided to watch the Oldham game, but on DAZN, I actually watched the Ebbsfleet and Oldham game, and honestly, it got to a point. Oldham obviously went 1-0 up, and then Ebbsfleet, I think they got a penalty, so they managed to equalise, and it was quite late on as well. And then Oldham, I don't think it was that long later, to be fair. So I remember. I remember texting my mum, and it must have been late, but I saw her, obviously. I think I went downstairs, did something, and then went back up. It was 1-1. So I texted my mum. She's obviously a Rochdale fan like me. I was like, oh my God, Ebbsfleet have equalised. No sooner as I text that, Oldham went and scored. But as much as I don't want to give Oldham credit because they are our rivals, they're starting to really find their feet now, and they're finding some consistency as well. And yeah, you've got, as much as I don't want to, and if there is any Oldham fans watching, I don't want to give you credit, but fair play.
I love how you call it DAZN as well.
I know, I call it DAZN. I know,
DAZN.
just got it, DAZN. But before I talk about Gateshead, because obviously I've got quite a long thing to read off Luke, I will talk about the Dale game. There's not really much to say, to be fair. Another win, which is absolutely brilliant. Another Cairo Mitchell goal. I don't want to talk about him too much because it's so frustrating, because I'm so happy that he's scoring these goals, especially the amount of stick that he has got previously off our fans. I'm so buzzing Cairo Mitchell scoring goals, but I honestly wish someone else would contribute, because I'm thinking to myself, everyone's seen Cairo Mitchell score all these goals. Someone's bound to come in for him. And I really don't want that. I really don't. But I feel with Cairo, it's been a bit inconsistent with him previously at the clubs he's been at. He's not really found his feet, especially scoring goals. But at Rochdale, he does really seem to have found like his level at the minute. And he's really, like, especially this season, he did well last season, but he's really come into himself at the Dale, and obviously he's scoring goals now, which is brilliant. But the game itself, it wasn't pretty at all. And to be honest, I thought Braintree deserved a point, at least, out of that. I was quite surprised with Braintree, because I thought, they've just come up. It's going to be one of them games where they're going to be really physical, just hoof the ball and stuff. But to be fair to them, they did really try and play some football. And like I said, with the sides like Woking against us and Solihull Moors, they did bully us, a very physical side, and they did bully us. But in our defence, to be fair, it was one of them games that we really did stick out, and our defence especially were brilliant that game. Luke McNicholas back in net for us, kept another clean sheet. While he was in goal for us, we've only conceded 3 goals so far this season. I don't want to jinx it now, because obviously, as I did say, we do have Ebbsfleet. He did get an injury. We had our other goalkeeper in there. Obviously, he conceded some, and that's when we did lose a couple of games. But with Luke McNicholas in goal, I do feel quite confident. But yeah, it was one of them games. If we played the same game last season, I wouldn't have seen us holding on to the lead. I would have seen us obviously conceding and our heads going, maybe them getting the winner as well with their physicality and stuff. But this season, our defence seems to really be strong, and we seem to really be sticking together and stuff. And it's good to see. It wasn't the prettiest game, as I mentioned, but they're the games that you're like, yeah, fair play. We didn't really deserve that win, but we got the 3 points. Let's move on to the next one. So, yeah, I'm very happy, and we seem to be doing all right at the minute. I'm not getting too confident, because, as I mentioned, we do have Ebbsfleet. Ebbsfleet are struggling. They're the kind of games that we are ones to lose against, and we do kind of like get a bit of a reality check against your lower teams. So, yeah, I'm quite confident. But just quickly before I move on, I just wanted to point out, I've seen a few people on Twitter, Rochdale fans, becoming a little bit entitled recently, saying we have to get, was it 12 points from these next
12
points from the next 4
you can't
games.
drop the game. Can't drop a point. Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, yeah, that'd be fantastic. And I think this side that we've got now, be surprising us week in, week out. And we are more than capable of getting that with this team. But don't be so entitled. It wasn't that long ago we were facing possible liquidation. You all wanted Jim McNulty out. You didn't want him to sign this 3-year contract. So now we're expected to get 12 points out of 4 games. Just chill. Yes, it is quite a decent run of fixtures, but just chill. Don't get ahead of yourself, because that is when they will bite us on the ass when we have cocky fans. So yeah, if there's any Dale fans watching, be humble. Be humble. We are National League. Yes, we are doing very well so far, but be humble. Just putting it out there. But yeah, I do hope we get 12 points, but probably not going to happen. Just before we move on as well, I will talk about Luke and his, obviously, I'll get into the Southend game first. So we did win against Southend. So he has put absolutely fantastic performance overall from both halves in that game. Every player on the pitch during the game was incredible. We are absolutely flying now. Roll on Wilston at home. And then he's put, unfortunately for Rob Elliott and his management team, departure was a massive blow to our club, considering what he did on the pitch and especially off the pitch. But I can say it was a fully deserved move to Crawley for him, as he turned out to be a brilliant manager for us after Williamson left. I think he will thrive with Crawley in League One. So we are in the hands of a mixture of first-team players and Ben Clark, who is a Gateshead legend. Sadly, he has come out and said if he gets offered the manager role at Gateshead, he won't accept it. We need to get the next manager appointment correct, since they have big boots to fill. Hopefully, whoever gets it has the same playing style to us and a heart off the pitch.
Mick Beale's free.
And is fuming about the National League Cup. And to be fair, I completely agree. And what I did see, I'm not going to talk too much about the National League Cup, but what I did see, and I think it was actually an Oldham player, got injured, one of their standout players as well. So I just think, like, is it really worth it? Like, seriously, is this cup really worth it? Like,
I think you want the best players to be playing in the National League. That's the thing. It's the whole point of the competition. And you know, I mean, I saw. I think it was Trevor actually that put on Twitter, about the attendances they had in the cup, and it was well, I wouldn't say unbelievable, because I wasn't surprised at all. I think that some of the games with 200 people. Most of the clubs that would get at least a good couple of thousand, which shows, to be fair, and to be honest, I really hope that everyone starts boycotting it. And that's the thing. And even the most hardcore supporters that would love to be there every game, just see. And that's the thing. You see it. It's no point in this competition. It never has been a point in this competition. No. When you've seen star players getting injured in these games against under 21 side, what is the point? Because if I were those clubs that are in the competition, I'd be going, no, well, if we are going to play in this, we'll play our youngsters. Get the under 18s in check. That might as well treat it like that, because that's what the Premier League side is treating it as. Why not? So that's the thing. Like, if you want to undermine a competition, let the National League clubs do the same thing.
Well, we actually got, I think it might have been Trev as well, who actually quote tweeted us. And he was a bit fuming with it as well, because I think we came out and put a statement out and said we'll be using it for our younger players to kind of play against them and thrive and get experience. And a lot of people on Twitter were like, "Oh, look at Rochdale thinking of Liverpool and all this."
Compared with the greats this season, aren't they? I
know. But honestly, it's like even these games, so you're only getting like a couple of hundred supporters at the most, but you think how much it'll cost to run the floodlights, obviously steward it as well. And I know, especially in our ground, we'll probably only open one stand, in the ground, and probably split it between, if any of the Premier League like fans come, and obviously our own. But you think of all the cost and the food and things like that, and I just think it's not worth it at all. I really don't. I don't know if anyone else agrees.
Oh,
Yeah,
100%.
I think
100%.
we've got like the EFL Cup, I think, on Tuesday, and it's against like Nottingham Forest under 21s, and I just know Derek's not going to play the first team. He's not going to risk paying like the best players when they've already lost some top players already. It's not worth it. Like you said, you might as well give the youngsters a bit of a run around and let them get the experience that they deserve. But again, it's like, what's the point in the EFL Cup? There's no point.
It's like you said
are we
there,
playing
Shaw.
these cups that we don't need when you've got clubs like Markham and Fleetwood who only have like 20 players? We can't afford to get our star players injured because that could put a huge damper on the season.
100%.
I mean, I just can't get around Mark Ives, and what's going on at the National League, because this is a man that said he backs, FA Cup replays to be scrapped, but he's happy to put in the most pointless competition where, like you say, it costs so much to run these games. Honestly, I mark my words now, this competition will not last 2 seasons. Because if it does, I'll be very surprised, because they will see, the embarrassment of when, teams get to the final and whatever it is, and they probably get about 500 maybe max, and you're thinking, oh, actually, that's not very good. They'll probably be relying on Premier League clubs to be bringing fans. That's the thing. Clearly, Premier League fans aren't that interested either, because they're not coming to these games, are they?
Exactly.
So that's the thing. You just think, what is the point? What is going through his head? And that is why this league, the people that run this league, are so incompetent. I'm quite happy to say that the people that run the National League are so incompetent. It's been like it for years. It needs a big change from top to bottom, because the way it's been run since COVID and everything like that, it's been an absolute shambles. And this is another reason why I just can't stand Mark Ives or anyone at the National League board. It needs to change now, otherwise the competition is going to go downhill, and I don't want it to, because it's a great league to be a part of. I just wish the people that run it, actually treated it like a professional league and not like a Sunday league. That's the thing. The Sunday league is actually run better than the National League. That's probably an insult to Sunday.
Go on, bed.
Go on, Ben. Mark Ives, you better be watching. You better be watching.
Being honest, because we all talk about the EFL. And don't get me wrong, the EFL is not run the best either. That's the thing. I find the lower you go down in the pyramid, the better the leagues are run. When we were in the Ryman League, guys, Maidstone, it used to be run so well. The board were absolutely brilliant, the way they did things. But the National League, it's just the higher you go up, you just think, how are these people getting to these positions in football? So I don't want to speak about it too much, because we've been on here for so long now. I thought I needed a little run it, because I hate it.
It's what you get being put next to me on here. You get my rants, don't you?
That's it. Pass it on.
I will quickly read out the National League table. So, top of the table, we have Barnet on 27 points, York as second on 25 points, Forest Green are third on 24 points, Dale are fourth on 23 points. I mean, look at that goal difference as well. It's only took us.
Especially because you're going to win your next 4 games and get 12 points.
Yeah.
I know. I tell you what, after those 4 games, just have us to win it as champions, pissing it. That is a joke, by the way, if anyone is coming at that time. It's a joke. 5th, we have Gateshead, also on 23 points. Oldham Athletic are 6th, also on 23 points. And Eastleigh is 7th on 21 points. And then in the relegation zone, Boston are 21st on 9 points. AFC Fylde are 22nd on 9 points. Wealdstone are 23rd on 8 points. And the team who we play on Saturday and will probably beat us now, we have Ebbsfleet United, who are bottom of the National League on 5 points. And that is the end of the football chat. It's been a long one. It's been a few double game weeks in the EFL. But thank you to everyone who has spoke football with me tonight, our wonderful team of podcasters, and obviously everyone in the chat. Ant, where can everybody find you if they want a bit more Ant in their lives? Oh, the point. I like it. You've been practicing.
Becca's like a proud mum there, isn't she?
I know.
Yeah, and @_Watson on Twitter if you want to speak or talk to us. And we are at, you can call whatever you want, Sean, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I'm at Howie Pod, which is the only Sunderland fan podcast, which is dropping its next podcast, I think it's coming out tomorrow. If you want to give that a listen, we're also live on Twitter Spaces on Monday. Also, Football Content Awards finalists as well in the same category as the Absolute Football on the women's side. So if you have already voted for the Absolute Women and want to vote for us as well, please vote for us. But thanks very much, everyone. Thanks very much, everyone. See you next week. Thank you.
Ben, where can everybody find you?
I'm not going to do the finger point this week. I can't be bothered. So. I've let myself down too many times today. If you want to find me, it's at Ben Stones FC1 on Twitter. And if you want to get any more Maidstone in your life, then that's the place to find me. So, yeah. Thanks for your support again, guys, tonight.
Jen, where can everybody find you?
It is Jen on _ on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all the good stuff. You'll find me either crying on Saturday or I don't know.
Crying happy tears.
Yeah. Crazy.
Crying.
Just crying.
Ryan.
And we have another injury probably. But yeah, I'm on pretty much everything. So you'll find me there.
Rebecca, where can everybody find you?
Find me here.
Yay!
__short_. And that's on Twitter and TikTok. You can find my Hey Game 2 content at ASFC Hey Game 2. And if you want to catch up on anything F1, then you can join me and Jen at Girls in the Grandstand. And I'll probably be crying on Saturday along with Jen.
We can cry together, it's all right.
Yeah.
Dan the man! He's finally been back with us. Where can everybody find you? And thank you for joining us tonight.
It's all right. It's took you 5 long enough to find me, so I might as well tell people where they can find us. Yeah, just at Turf Morehouse, chatting the usual crap about Burnley. And yeah, just feel free to give us an ad and a follow on all social media. But thanks for having me back. Appreciate it. And it's been good. I've loved it.
Glad to have you back as well. We've missed you.
I'm back. That's it. I'm back.
Oh, maybe a spoiler alert as well. Sam has put, I might join next week. We have a mug to give away. A mug with all our mugs on.
Where's Ten Hag off to?
Oh, Dan won't be allowed on next week though with Sam.
Oh, that sort of mug.
Yeah.
It needs to be more specific.
And if anybody wants to find me, I am SharXRAFC. That is on Twitter, it's on Instagram, it's on TikTok. My Her Game 2 stuff is Rochdale HGT. And the most important ones. So we have Absolute Football Podcast. I mean, look at all of our faces on that. Look at all of our faces. What a bunch. And we are Absolutely Premier League, Absolutely Women's Football, and Absolutely Lower League. So our Premier League and European show is on Monday. Wednesday is Absolutely Women's Football, and Thursday is obviously Absolutely Lower League, where we cover the EFL Championship, League 1, League 2, Vanarama National League, and the Vanarama National League North and South, and any football that is happening because we just love football. But you can find us on Twitter at Absolute Ball Pod, YouTube and Twitch, we are Absolute Football Podcast. On TikTok, we are Absolute Football Pod. On Instagram and Threads, we are Absolute Football Podcast _. And on Facebook, we have Absolute Football Podcast. Please, 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 if you don't already, follow us, subscribe, comment, #merch, please, because at some point we do want merchandise. So if there's any particular thing you want, if it's a quote that any of us have said, please #merch, please. Tag Josh in it because Josh thinks he's the boss. me and Sam know otherwise, but we'll let him think he's the boss. I'm only joking, by the way, Josh, if you are watching. But please just tag him in everything and say that we want merchandise, because imagine a pencil case, imagine a cup, imagine a hat with us on, or a t-shirt with a favourite quote on that anyone said. Tag him in here. And also, as we have mentioned, we are up for not 1, not 2, but 3 Football Content Awards. So please vote for us. We are the Absolute Football Podcast, and that is on New Content Creator. That's also on the one, what is it, Anne? Best in Women's Football?
Best in Women's Football Creators, yeah. There's obviously the Absolute Football one and How We're Pod.
So vote for both of them.
Well, I'm actually up for 4, Sean. So are you, aren't you?
Yes.
We're up for 4.
And it's a little bit different as well. We are obviously up for one, Best in Non-League, and it's a podcast one, but we are down for Absolutely Lower League, not Absolute Football Podcast. So it is our podcast, but it is our show name. Sorry. And I know. And if anybody does want to vote for her game too, we are up for one also. But yeah, that is the end of our football chat. I hope it's a very good one for everybody in the chat. I hope your teams win. Rebecca, Jen, I'm sitting on the fence here because I do not want to choose a winner. But I hope everybody has a lovely weekend and take care, everyone.